reservations, fossilized in time for eternity. In the Middle East, the Israelites were expelled. I'm talking about biblical times or pre-biblical times from their settlements. The Exodus was a living testament to xenophobia. Parsis, Parsis had to flee Persia and found a safe sanctuary in India. Their culture had been totally eviscerated in what today is Iran. In Byzantium, the Greek Orthodox Church Hagia Sophia was Islamicized after the takeover of Constantinople by the Ottoman Turks. Not just Muslims, but in 1931 the Bolsheviks in Moscow flattened the iconic Christ the Savior Cathedral in a bid to pave over Christianity and by extension religion. The only religion, as you know, viewers, in Soviet Russia was communism, in a manner of speaking, of course. In the subcontinent, here, the most sacred Hindu sites were dismantled and built over with mosques. The assault on Indic civilization continued under Muslim rule for 1,000 years. When Islam was not harrying Hinduism, then Christianity waged an intellectual attack on its belief systems. In an attempt to civilize, as they said, Hindus, missionaries pushed them to convert to Christianity, to become civilized. After partition, Hinduphobia continues in Pakistan and Bangladesh. Viewers, one would have thought that at least in a free, secular and democratic India, Hindus would not feel threatened, that they would at least and at last find a sanctuary from both intellectual and religious persecution. Sadly, viewers, this view couldn't be more wrong. An ecosystem continues to wage an acrimonious war on the Indic tradition. In the latest sordid chapter, the Congress Party's Karnataka chief has unleashed a tirade against Hindus, against their beliefs, trying to even divorce them from their faith. Listen to this most latest chapter that is being scripted in Hinduphobia, viewers.
हिंदू शब्द कहाँ से आ गया? ये हमारा है? पर्शियन का है? पर्शियन का है? ईरान, इराक, कजाकिस्तान, उज्बेकिस्तान, फिर भारत का उधर का क्या संबंध है? फिर आपका कैसा होगा हिंदू? फिर आपको इतने उसको ऊपर बिठा के क्यों आप जा रहे हैं? आपका नहीं है वो शब्द. फिर उसका मीनिंग आपको समझ में आएगा तो आपके अब शर्म आ जाएंगे. हिंदू का जो मीनिंग है वो बहुत गंदी है.
The meaning of the word Hindu is dirty, it's filthy, according to this man. This man, viewers, is not some ordinary leader. He's a member of the Legislative Assembly. He is the chief of the Karnataka Congress. Viewers, he says, if this word is borrowed, if the term Hindu is borrowed from other cultures, then how is it related to India in the first place? How is this faith related to India in the first place? Now remember, viewers, just a few days back, someone popped up and said that one of the founders of the Cholan kingdom was not a Hindu. Viewers, as I told you, there is a systematic attempt being made to erode the entire culture, to deny its existence. I've already told you how by the sword this was done. Then intellectual war was waged, and it continues. But viewers, the facts don't add up. And here I only deal in facts. On India Up Front, we deal in facts, viewers. These are hard facts. These are undeniable. Hindu culture cannot be divorced from this land. Its imprint cannot be denied or stubbed out just because you decide to bring down one of the most iconic temples and build a mosque or any other structure over it. You cannot stub out the imprint. Hindu culture and tradition will not be blasted off like the Bamyan Buddhas were recently, viewers, and much to the world's horror. As much as propagandist, Hinduphobic leaders, Hindu baiters might try, the evidence is overwhelming. And let me take you through some of this evidence. I'm not making this up, viewers. It's been written for posterity. It's been recorded for posterity. There's a 7th century reference to it, much before Jharki Holi's Iranian, Iraqi, Persian, Kazaki or Uzbeki people showed up here, viewers. In the 7th century, let me read out to you what Hyun Siang in the Buddhist records of the Western world, Book 2, said. The bright connected light of holy men and sages, guiding the world as the shining of the moon, have made this country imminent, and so it is called Into. So it is called Into. This is Hyun Sang, and everyone, whoever has been to primary school in this country, must know about this. This cannot be denied. There are Vedic references, and let me, viewers, quote those to you. This is Iravatham Mahadev, an Indologist from Tamil Nadu, who says, reminded of the two most powerful images in the Soma chapter of the Rig Veda, Pavamana and Indu, unquote. Viewers, can anyone deny this? There is another reference, and this time in the Rig Vedas. The river Indus is named Good Soma, Sumona. So we have the droplets of Soma, Indu, and the flowing Soma, Sindhu. Viewers, this was also brought out recently by Arvindan Nilakandan in the Swarajya. No wonder today, viewers, there is a massive controversy raging, and listen to some of the reactions that are coming in, especially by those who see themselves as spokespeople for Hindus, parties like the BJP and other Hindu groups, saying that the ecosystem's mindset is being revealed in these words that this particular Congress leader has chosen to use. Listen to this.
This is what Congress is always doing, to attract the votes of one community. One thing I feel is that he has not studied the history of India, Bharata. If he has studied the history of Bharata and if he has spoken like that, I feel it is only to attract votes, to appease Muslims.
यह कांग्रेस और राहुल गांधी द्वारा हिंदुओं के प्रति जो नफरत का भाव है उसी को एक बार फिर से प्रकट किया है। यह कांग्रेस का नित्य कर्म हो गया है और अब आवश्यकता है कि हिंदू जागृत हो और ऐसे हिंदू द्रोही कांग्रेस को जबरदस्त सबक सिखाएं।
कांग्रेस की मानसिकता सदैव ही सनातन संस्कृति के विरोध में ही रहा है। कांग्रेस शुरू से ही हिंदू और हिंदुत्व को गाली देना, हमको बोको हरम, ISI, तालिबान से जोड़ देना, जिस प्रकार से सनातन संस्कृति को अपमानित करने का काम करते हैं, तो ऐसे नेताओं के खिलाफ कांग्रेस के वरिष्ठ नेता को जल्द से जल्द कार्रवाई करनी चाहिए।
Viewers, all of them are reacting to the latest chapter in Hindu bashing. This time scripted, as I told you, by a very senior leader of the Congress party from Karnataka, the state chief, no less. He says the word Hindu has a vulgar meaning. Gandhi, he used the word. Gandhi meaning. Let me ask some questions now, viewers, of our panelists. Remember, I told you, viewers, this is part of a larger, much larger group who have been escalating their attacks. And I have a whole list of what has been said in the past. But let's open this up. I want to begin with Kamruzaman Chaudhary, leader of the Congress. Mr. Chaudhary, what explains the prejudice and disdain for the Hindu community, for the Hindu faith, for Hindus as such? Would the Congress, and let me ask you, you put your hand on your heart tonight, would the Congress ever use the word dirty or gandhi to refer to another religion?
Yeah, Rahul, first of all, a very good evening to you. Basically, you know, the Congress party does not endorse any of the views expressed by Mr. Satish out here.
Okay.
He has uttered this statement in a private religious function that is there. It is recorded and it is utterly condemnable. He should not have spoken in that language. It was best avoided. And the Congress party respects all religion as it is in India. Their debate of a Indian civilization versus the Hindu civilization is always there in India. Now we are not in a Hindu civilization, we are in an Indian civilization. You must be very careful in quoting the Hindu civilization references from the past that you might bring in always. We as an India nation, that I call now the present day Indian civilization, existed after 1947, amalgamating all the religious castes that belong to India, and that the beauty of the India that is manifested in today's India, that we are there. Of course there were differences right from the independence, but of course we are able to solve our problems amicably and we will march on. Congress party categorically does not endorse any such views. Let me repeat that. It does not endorse the views of Mr. Satish on his comments today against a particular religion in India.
Viewers, Shivraj Patil just a few days ago, October 2020, you judge for yourselves, viewers, what the Congress believes and doesn't believe. Krishna taught jihad to Arjun in Gita. This is Shivraj Patil, who was former Home Minister when the 26/11 attacks took place. Of course, his great distinction, how he distinguished himself, was that in one day, viewers, he changed his clothes so often because he was so busy wanting to make an impression in press conferences when terrorists were striking at the heart of Mumbai. That's how he distinguished himself. A. Raja of the DMK says you are untouchable till you remain a Hindu. So you are really the pits. That's what A. Raja meant. R. Rajiv Gandhi, a DMK leader, says Brahmin should have been killed as directed by Periyar. Rajendra Gautam of the Aam Aadmi Party says on November 2022, Hindus will soon become a minority in India. Wipe them out, finish them off. That's the imputation. I don't know, viewers, because I haven't got any clarification from Mr. Gautam on his statement. That's what many people are believing he is implying. I hope not. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. P. Chidambaram, saffron teller implicated in many blasts. Why is every Hindu terrorist a Sanghi? Digvijay Singh, BJP and RSS conduct terror training camps. BJP bringing Talibanism to Hinduism. Hindi, Hindu, Hindutva ideology dividing India. Shashi Tharoor. Hindu ideology dividing India. Viewers, let's go back to Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary. Mr. Chaudhary, I want to ask you a question. All these leaders, your party never uses anything even moderately offensive against any other faith. How is it that you only question the belief systems of Hindus, the views of Hindus? Why do you take advantage of their tolerance? What is it about Hindus that you don't like?
No, Rahul.
And I'm not saying you personally, I'm talking about the Congress party. Why has disciplinary action not been taken? You tell me.
I understand.
Do you, first of all, do you underscore this?
I understand.
Rahul, would you ever say the word Hindu is a dirty word? I'm asking you specifically. You, Kamruzaman Chaudhary.
No, I will never utter such a word for a particular religion.
So tell me that you believe it is
in the world.
So you believe that it is a
system that I believe in.
So sir, do you believe it's an insult? Yes or no? Just answer me yes and no's. Do you believe it's an insult?
Yes, of course. Even
Then
it's
tell
an
me,
insult
why
in the
is
sense
the Congress...
the way he has quoted it.
Now tell me something. Mr.
It
Jharkholi...
doesn't suit a Congress leader.
It
doesn't suit a Congress leader
you,
to
sir.
hurt sentiments of any other community.
Thank you. But maybe Mr. Jharkholi...
Rahul,
one minute, let me finish.
Give me 10 more seconds.
Let me finish. Let me finish, sir. Let me finish. You have given me a huge spiel on what the Congress believes, but you haven't told me then, if it so believes that it is a tolerant party, why hasn't it taken action against Mr. Jharkholi? Why hasn't he been sacked? Rahul Gandhi is on this Bharat Jodo Yatra, while Mr. Jharkholi is whipping up hate against one particular faith, dividing India even further. Why hasn't Rahul Gandhi turned around and told Mr. Jharkholi, I'm stripping you off the post that you occupy today in the Congress party? It's a very simple question. Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, can you explain this to me?
Okay, political parties, they work on a particular rules, time fed. If he has said something, there is a disciplinary committee which will take its due course of action. Don't worry about that, Rahul. My limited point tonight in your show is, Rahul, you have run a series of comments by Congress leaders. I don't have any objection to majority of the comments, because I still feel that the ideology of Hinduism is different from the ideology of Hindutva. Why I say that Hinduism is a all accepting, all embracing religion, but Hindutva is a negative, a divisive force that is eating into the secular fabric of the country. We must be careful and be able to distinguish between the Hinduism and Hindutva of the country. We are fighting a war against Hindutva, but we are not against any particular religion of the country, and we respect each and every religion as it is. There are differences of opinion with regards to how do we approach and embrace each religious beliefs. That is one part of the story. Now, but viewers, as a congressman, my party man, my leaders, my workers will always stand against Hindutva.
I will judge you, sir. First of all, this great distinction that you are trying to make between Hindus and Hindutva, even the Supreme Court doesn't make that distinction. Now, if the Supreme Court's word is not good enough for you, Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, God help the Congress party, but I'll leave it at that for the moment. I don't want to continue this with you. We've heard you. You've been given more than an opportunity to explain your point of view. I want to first bring in the BJP to explain why the BJP today still feels aggrieved, even after listening to Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, the Member of Parliament from the Bharatiya Janata Party, GVL Narasimha Rao, is going to respond. Yes, Mr. Rao, tell me.
Yeah, good evening, Rahul, to you, all the panelists. I don't think Mr. Kamruzaman views represent the views of the Congress party. I think if he feels otherwise, he can contradict me. I have not heard any statement from the Congress leadership, because Mr. Satish, who made these horrible comments, is a very senior leader of the Congress party in Karnataka. He is a working president of the party. He is a legislator. So unless a contradiction, unless a rebuke comes from the national leadership of the Congress party, any other criticism is can only be taken as individual criticism and not party level criticism. For Congress party, making anti-Hindu statements has become a way of life. You have mentioned a number of statements. There are several other statements that you have heard in the past several years, how they have even questioned the existence of Lord Ram in the Supreme Court by filing an affidavit, which certainly hurts sentiments of crores of Hindus in the country. How they have presented concepts like saffron terror, Hindu terror, only to soil the image, only to lower the image and dignity of Hindus all over the world. I think this is a typical Congress style. It's not an off-the-cuff statement. It's not it's a pure calculated statement.
Let me tell you.
To appease a particular community, particularly the minority Muslim community in Karnataka. It's a calculated statement.
Okay, so one
And
second.
therefore,
I just want to make one
unless a
quick intervention.
contradiction,
Mr. Rao.
unless it's a criticism comes from the national leadership,
Okay.
we have to take it as Congress party's view,
So let
but
me
not
very
otherwise.
quickly, one second.
It has already come,
One second.
sir.
Let me
Do
just
some
very
research
quickly,
before
Mr.
coming to
Chaudhary,
debate.
please lower his fader. I don't want people talking over each other. You have a problem with that, go to somewhere else. Now I just want to make it very clear that Mr. Surjewala, who till some days back was still the spokesman, I don't know if he's still the spokesperson, but as you know, he does brief a large number of media statements. He has come out and said that the Congress is that Mr. Satish Jharkholi's views are deeply unfortunate and deserves to be rejected. We condemn it unequivocally. So I just want to make all our viewers aware of the hard fact that Mr. Surjewala has come out and condemned. Yeah, you're saying something,
This
Mr. Rao.
department.
What?
No, Jairam Ramesh is the head of the communications
Yeah, fair enough.
department.
So you had one
and he's
leader-
he's quite an
agree
eloquent
with
man. He comments on
I agree with
everything on a daily basis.
I agree with
And
you.
it's surprising that he does not speak.
Neither has the Congress leadership.
Is it because
Okay.
there are elections happening in Gujarat and Himachal, and this comment was to be made maybe a month later, once the polling was over in Gujarat, Himachal? Maybe Mr. Satish made this comment a few weeks early, and that's why
Okay.
you have this comment coming from
Okay.
Surjewala.
But I can tell you,
Otherwise,
viewers,
the Congress would have happily lapped it up.
I can tell you that there are, first of all, on facts, infirmities. And we have with us Vedic scholar, the very eloquent Dushyant Sridhar with us this evening. We are very lucky. He is speaking from Bengaluru today. In Belagavi, you heard what Mr. Jharkholi has said. Now, how do you view it? Just from a historic, number one, number two, cultural, number three, factual perspective, sir.
Namaskaram Rahul and namaskaram to my fellow panelists. I heard them patiently. Very quickly, Rahul, even before understanding what to agree and what to disagree in the comment made by the politician, three words that I find missing in the dictionary of the person who has made this comment, which is E for education, L for logic, and S for sense, because it doesn't make any sense, it is illogical and absolutely ill-informed. Very quickly, first, the word Hindu is what he finds it very obnoxious. He says that it smells so bad, the meaning is so bad. Of course, the people from the European continent, the Greeks, people who came from the Middle East, referred to this piece of land of geography based on the river that flowed. So Sindhu, which became Hindu, and then we had words like Indoi and Indica coming from the European part and the Middle East. Hyunzang, like how you made the opening comment, it was a very, very useful comment, Rahul, because Hyunzang, who traveled in the 7th century from China to the Indian subcontinent, refers to this land as the land of the moon, which is Intu, which is Hindu. Interestingly, the person who has made this comment today belongs to a party where Sri Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, in the glimpses of world history, quotes Hyunzang and says this land of the moon, of the knowledgeable, gives rise to the word Hindu. So probably he's defying his own ideologue's comment. Nevertheless, why was this referred to as the land of Sindhu or Hindu? Because based on the river Sindhu, because river is very important to us. Why is this land called the land of the Intu, moon? Because parts of Brahmadesham, which is Myanmar, Bhutan, Arunachal Pradesh, Nepal, Uttarakhand, Ladakh, and Kashmir, they all form a part of the huge range called as Himalayas. Astyuttarasyam Dishi Devatatma Himalayo Nama Nagadhirajaha, says Kalidasa. So it is snow-clad. It resembles the moon, and the moon's rays, when it falls on it, there starts the geography. So the people from the Chinese civilization viewed this land as the land of the knowledgeable, because in Jyotisha Shastram, Rahul, the one who is responsible for knowledge, intellect, is Buddha. The one who is responsible for the stability of the mind is Chandra. So only when the moon is stable, the knowledge is stable, and people have a stable knowledge. This land was referred to as the people with stable knowledge, the land of the Intu. Then came the word Hindu. But sadly, I come from a beautiful state called Karnataka, Rahul, where Karnena Atati, or Brahmati, though when you hear nice reverberations of victory by the kings who protect the civilization, it's called Karnataka, it seems, in Sanskritam. So we had Vijayanagaras, Hoysalas, Chalukyas and so on, and today we have one senseless person coming from this state giving such an obnoxious color to the word Hinduism. So of course, Rahul, how much ever this comment was harmful, was lethal in approach, he can be rest assured that his head won't be beheaded, because the civilization is that magnanimous that it can forgive that person and it can pray that there prevails good sense in this person.
Okay, let me bring in Mr. Ahmed. Look, you've had now a Vedic scholar giving you the history, Mr. Ahmed, Mr. Tanveer Ahmed of the JDS. Would you today accuse the Congress and the ecosystem that continues to attack Hindu belief systems, denigrate them, etc., of xenophobia? Would you come out and say this in no uncertain terms?
With all due respect to the respected Swamiji, Mr. Dushyant Sridhar, who has really said, who increased our knowledge and information about Hindu and scriptures and what it speaks about. Fantastic. But we need to really come back to politics. We need to really know that Mr. GBL Narasimha Rao has two caged parrots. One is called as CBI, another is called as ED. So we need to really understand Belagavi is the second largest district in Karnataka. Why is Mr. Jarkioli making a statement? Jarkioli brothers are absolutely very, very vulnerable when it comes to these CBI and ED cases. And I'm sure, you know, Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao and his party would have really used those two parrots to really cage him and say that you need to make a statement like this. And I would not be surprised, a person who's 5-time MLA, minister, a person of large intelligence coming and making a statement cannot really be just another statement. It should be well crafted and drafted and given, the scriptures given from Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao and his party. However, it is a very sad statement from my political point of view, from my party I would say. A person making a stupid statement like this definitely needs to be apologized, definitely needs to be sacked. But however, it is, who is going to get benefited? Cui bono? Who would get benefited by a statement like this? All the Hindus' votes would be divided. They would come and centralize at one person and one party, which would be BJP. So I can really tell you with my political intellect and with my understanding, this is not just another statement which is made by Mr. Jarkioli. It is a scripture which is given by BJP to Mr. Jarkioli to make a statement like this.
Look
and
how bizarre,
Congress is absolutely caught unaware.
Look at
no,
this.
It is not bizarre.
No,
it is absolutely
Mr. Ahmed, this is as bizarre.
Logic.
1 minute. I'll just bring you in, Mr. Rao. You need to defend your party against this bizarre logic, and I will give you the opportunity. I just want to make an extension of this logic. Viewers, there are two caged Pakistani parrots in this country. Should I tell you? Two caged Pakistani parrots. One is Yasin Malik, the other one is Mirwaiz Umar Farooq. And they make plenty of statements that are not just anti-Hindu, they are anti-India. They presided over, of course, and one of them, in fact, even executed the Hindu genocide in the 90s in Kashmir. Mr. Pandit, who is part of this panel tonight, will tell you. Now, this is like saying that these two caged Pakistani parrots who abuse India, who have presided over the Hindu genocide in Kashmir, did so at the behest of the RSS, so that many years later, 20 years later, the BJP would come to power in a vast majority. This, viewers, is the intellectual, absolute intellectual diminution of the debate that we are witnessing today. I'm sorry, Mr. Ahmed, you have made a bit of a fool of yourself tonight. This is not acceptable. How can you even try today to say you understand politics? Are you telling me? No, are you telling me? Then let's have this out. No, let's have this out. No, 1 second. Let's have this out. No, 1 second. Let me take you back in time.
Let me take you back in time. 30 seconds, Rahul.
Let me have my 30 seconds, Let me take you back in time. Let me take you back in time, sir. I'll take you back to a time not very far back, so you won't have a problem remembering it. I'll take you back to 2008, 26/11, sir. Right after that, the Congress came out with a theory that the 26/11 attacks was an, in their words, quote unquote, an RSS sajish. Now viewers, politically, Mr. Ahmed would say, wow, this was also spun by the Congress to bring the BJP back into power. I mean, this is ridiculous. How much are we going to justify? Are we also going to say that Nehru opposed, fought with Mr. Patel, Sardar Patel, when he wanted Somnath to be rebuilt because he thought that I will benefit the RSS, bring them back into power? Viewers, this is absolutely ridiculous. Just think about what we are justifying, rationalizing in the name of politics today. One second, let Mr. Rao respond to you, Mr. Ahmed. I think this is very irresponsible. Spreading conspiracy theories of this vapid nature is very, very irresponsible, sir. You are opening up the floodgates.
Rahul Jarkioli is an intelligent and intellectual leader.
Well, I don't know,
for him
sir.
to make
He might be very prejudiced also. There are very intelligent people in the world who are extremely prejudiced also.
No, he's a some foreign force which is acting.
People who are extremely prejudiced.
We need to really understand this.
Yes, Mr. Rahul, respond.
Yeah, Rahul, you actually nailed it. You see, generally, Tanveer, a good friend, makes generally very, very sensible, intelligible comments. But today, I think his comments are completely bereft of logic, bizarre. I think he says he, under the influence or fear of agencies, he has made this comment. How he's working president of the Congress party, Tanveer. He's not an ordinary member of the Congress. He's a senior leader, working president of the Congress party. And all these comments are made only to consolidate a vote bank. Why didn't you accept that? No, why are you saying all Hindus? Because he's made this comment so that all Hindus will go to the BJP. Is JDS saying we are not, we don't have any, we don't, is JDS saying that we don't get Hindu votes?
Muslim community
we are also a Muslim party. Is Tanveer wanting to say that JDS doesn't stand for the rights of Hindus, rights for Muslims, rights for all citizens of Karnataka?
You love Hindus? Okay. So let me ask you a question. You all celebrated the word.
Yes,
no, one second,
certainly.
Mr. Ahmed. You all celebrated. Now let's have this out. Okay. Let's go back into time again, and Mr. Sushil Pandit is there. You loved Hindus so much, and Sushil Pandit, please respond to this. They loved Hindus so much, the Congress, the other opposition, so-called secular opposition, that today not one person has gone to prison for the butchery that we witnessed after independence in a free, democratic, secular India in Kashmir. They are so in favor of Hindu rights that when a movie was released recently, they said it was an RSS conspiracy to divide the nation, and that movie was called Kashmir Files. I wish we were speaking to Mr. Vivek Agnihotri. He can give you a list of what people said about him, his motives from the opposition that we today, and the ecosystem, forget the opposite, the ecosystem that we so celebrate as being woke. Mr. Pandit, go ahead.
Thank you, Rahul, for having me on your show, and good evening to all your panelists and the viewers. You know, this is a very old issue, and the people we are talking about have a congenital hatred for this entire community, even if their name suggests that they belong to this community, because it is 1,000 years of self-flagellation, guilt, a huge sense of criminality about being who they are. And it has been instilled, politically instilled, you know, ideologically instilled, because they have built a politics around it. Today, when they see people resenting it, people resisting it, people questioning it, they can't stomach it. A good Hindu, in their view, is the one who soaks in all the punches, doesn't complain, willingly offers his neck to be chopped, and is happy being ramrodded into a corner despite being a majority, despite being a native, despite being belonging to a civilization and the cultural values that this land produced. But if he resists, if he questions, if he defends himself, if he questions those who berate him, subdue him, humiliate him, they call it Hindutva. Hinduism is good enough for them because it has been soaking punches and taking genocides in its stride for 1,000 years, losing more than 250 million people in the process.
Well,
it is all right because it could never resist raising towers of their skulls by the marauders like Tipu and
Rahul,
Tamur.
why are you not
But
interfering? This is
if they stand
provoking
up,
violence against
if
a
they
particular
resist,
community.
if they question,
Why
if
are
they come
you
back
not
and say, no, we want to
hang
have
on.
a
Look at this,
This is
gentlemen.
totally
Look at this, gentlemen.
unparliamentary.
One second, Mr. Pandit. Now look at the way they're going to try and muzzle you by suggesting that you're provoking violence. No, you're calling out a fact. Now let me tell Mr. Chaudhary a few things. His party, the Congress, supports the DMK. You know what the DMK's great leader...
this is
one second.
provoking violence.
Listen to me.
Mr.
One
Sushil
second.
Pandit
Shut
and
him
his
down,
lights
please.
of the
No.
Hindutva
One second.
I am stating
Listen to
facts.
this statement. A. Raja's
Haven't been
statement.
subjected to genocide.
1 second. Listen to A. Raja. A. Raja on September 14th. You are a Shudra till you remain a Hindu. You are the son of a prostitute till you remain a Hindu. You are a Panchaman till you remain a Hindu, which is a Dalit. You are an untouchable till you remain a Hindu. Viewers, this is the same DMK that traces its ideology to Mr. Periyar. And what did Mr. Periyar do? Apart from taking many pot shots, he actually broke on the 27th of May 1953 statues. He smashed the statues of Lord Ganesha. Now, Mr. Karthikeyan, who is provoking violence against whom, and why is the Congress that calls itself such a secular party supporting the DMK that actually berates Hindus, calls them sons of prostitutes and other horrible adjectives? Why, sir?
First of all, let me clarify, Rahul. I don't subscribe to the dirty part of Mr. Satish's statement.
Okay.
But however, I believe the first part of his statement should be given some serious thought about. Right. And in fact, he may not be the first person to suggest that the word Hindu has been derived from Indus.
Yes.
If I may quote Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in his book, The Riddles in Hinduism, which was posthumously published, he has written that it was derived from Indus and it was coined by Al-Biruni, who was commissioned by the then Afghanistan, or the modern day Afghanistan, King Ghazni, in his book Tariq al-Hind. If I may quote Ambedkar, he uses the word Hindu derived thus, did not indicate a religious group but was used as a geographical demarcator for the inhabitants of the land near and east of Indus. So Satish may not be the first person to even suggest that the word Hindu is derived from Indus. Ambedkar has himself done it. And in fact, Ambedkar, in the same book, he makes a damning comment on the Vedas. He says the Vedas are a worthless set of books.
Okay, so
and there is no reason to either call them...
You believe what Dr. Ambedkar said? You believe what Dr. Ambedkar said, right? The gospel according to Dr. Ambedkar. Yeah. Okay, so now tell me. Dr. Ambedkar, 1 minute. Dr. Ambedkar also said, Islam is a closed corporation. And for those who are outside the corporation, there is nothing but contempt and enmity. Basically, he's saying that Islam is a closed corporation. If you are outside the corporation, Muslims will view you with contempt and enmity. Will you also accept this? Dr. Ambedkar also described the hijab. Should I read out what he said about the hijab? Would you accept that Dr. Ambedkar was right on Islam, that it's a closed corporation?
No, I am quoting Ambedkar.
I am also quoting Dr. Ambedkar.
No. If he has a very critical view of Islam or Christianity,
I am also quoting Dr. Ambedkar. Which Ambedkar? No. Which Ambedkar do you love?
If he has a critical view of not only Hinduism or Islam or Christianity, for that matter, any religion, I am open to that. Anything is subject to scholarship. Let's have an academic debate. Why are we so intemperate?
Academic debate now, but look at this, viewers. Look at this. I'm only asking you, do you celebrate what Dr. Ambedkar said about when he characterized Islam and the veil? Very simple. Yes or no?
No, you are just.
I'm not taking anything out of context. I'm only telling you what he's written, quote unquote. You can go.
So am I. So am I.
So am I. So I'm asking you, sir, do you accept what Dr. Ambedkar has said about Islam, which was not very appreciative, by the way?
No, if he's not appreciative of any religion, I don't have a problem. Let's have a critical view of any religion for that matter.
Okay. You can criticize any religion. You
yes,
can criticize
any religion.
So tell me, Dr. Ambedkar said about the burqa, they lag behind their sisters from other communities, cannot take part in any outdoor activity and are weighed down by a slavish mentality and an inferiority complex. Indeed, the Muslims have all the social evils of the Hindus and something more. That something more is the compulsory system of parda for Muslim women. These burqa women walking in the streets is one of the most hideous sights one can witness in India, unquote. You support this view, Mr. Karthikeyan?
If Mr. Ambedkar had really said that,
okay.
I really subscribe to it.
Okay. So Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, now let me ask Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary on Mr. Karthikeyan's view. Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, when Dr. Ambedkar said that Islam is a closed corporation, these are his words, I'm quoting him. And for those who are outside the corporation, there is nothing but contempt and enmity, unquote. Was he right or was he wrong?
I don't believe Dr. Ambedkar's words are a gospel truth.
Okay, stop there. Now stop there. 1 second. You don't believe they are gospel truth? Why does the Congress party support the DMK government that comes out and rationalizes through its own apologists like Mr. Karthikeyan the views of Dr. Ambedkar? If you are so tolerant, tell me, why are you together? Secondly, tell me, do you accept? No, 1 second. Do you accept? I'm asking Mr. Chaudhary. Mr. Chaudhary, I'm asking you.
Can I reply?
I'm asking you. No, I'm asking you the second part of my question. You didn't allow me.
Can I reply? Since you are doing whataboutery, you have brought in Islamophobia to project Hinduphobia.
I am not. Dr. Ambedkar has said these. You accuse Dr. Ambedkar of being Islamophobic. It's up to you.
Rahul,
here we have Kamruzaman Chaudhary accusing Dr. Ambedkar of being Islamophobic.
You can go in about whataboutery.
No. You being whataboutery tonight, sir. I am quoting Dr. Ambedkar. If you believe Dr. Ambedkar,
what is the topic of your debate?
If you believe
why are you bringing in Islamophobia to counter Hinduphobia?
I am asking you a question.
Who is propagating Islamophobia right now? Why have you brought in the discussion of anti-India, anti-Hindu? Who has brought in the debate of appeasement? Who has brought in the debate of Pakistani? Who has brought about the debate of Muslims and hijab? On this statement of tonight's discussion,
you will
not have any answer. You are an agenda-based debater.
Okay, shut him down. I am now going to bring in the views of Dr. Ambedkar. Dr. Ambedkar, the same Dr. Ambedkar that Mr. Karthikeyan says is okay. He can say these things. 1 minute, Mr. Karthikeyan. No, don't go. No. You can't pick the quote by Dr. Ambedkar that suits your idea. No. Shut him down also. I'm sorry. None of you apologists who delight in using all sorts of intellectual feints to slam Hindus and their beliefs are going to get away tonight, viewers, by trying to suggest that I am being Islam. I am only quoting Dr. Ambedkar. You can't say I like one of Dr. Ambedkar's quotes, Mr. Chaudhary, and I don't like the others because that is Islamophobic. And don't pin it on me. If you were better researched and educated, you would be coming out and saying, I apologize to all Hindus, and not trying to justify why the Congress sits with today the DMK. The same DMK viewers, let me tell you how Congress has fallen. The same DMK viewers that released the killer of Rajiv Gandhi gave him, fair enough, the person was entitled to remission. But the chief minister of the state embraced him, the killer of Rajiv Gandhi, one of the Congress's tallest leaders, viewers. And we are talking about the Congress having a moral conscience? I'm absolutely shocked. Mr. Chaudhary, you can take all your phobias and you can sit, sir, in a corner and ruminate over them. I leave it at this, viewers. There are another very big story that I want to report tonight, and it comes from the UK. This story, viewers, is very big because it is going to have massive repercussions for some of the individuals who are being persecuted for corruption in this country, prosecuted for corruption, probed for corruption. One of them happens to be Robert Vadra, who will be sitting on tenterhooks today. A UK court has rubber-stamped the Enforcement Directorate's case seeking extradition of Robert Vadra's alleged close aide, Sanjay Bhandari. The fugitive arms dealer, Mr. Sanjay Bhandari, will now face the courts here in India on serious charges of money laundering and tax evasion. The reason why this is a huge blow to Robert Vadra is because of an April 2010 email trail between Vadra and Bhandari's alleged aide, Mr. C.C. Thampi, regarding a London property. Now, viewers, the Enforcement Directorate that will be feeling triumphant today has claimed that this property is owned by Sanjay Bhandari's frontman and held the property for Gandhi in-law Robert Vadra. In other words, the Enforcement Directorate says that the flat in London was a kickback paid allegedly to Mr. Vadra as a commission for allegedly introducing Sanjay Bhandari to top UP officials, including ministers, to clear a petroleum deal. Now, viewers, the courts in India, this is very important. The courts in India have already taken cognizance of a charge sheet that makes this claim. So, prima facie, the courts in India believe that there is a case to be answered for by Mr. Bhandari, by Mr. Vadra and others. With Mr. Bhandari's return, the ED will be able to question the arms dealer and draw out more on the alleged kickback to Mr. Vadra, as it's quite apparent that once Bhandari is in India, the focus will now shift to linking Robert Vadra to that scandal, because that's precisely what the ED charge sheet, which has been accepted by a court of law, concludes. Now, viewers, for years altogether, let me elaborate on this. For years altogether, the Enforcement Directorate has suspected that there was a deep linkage between Mr. Bhandari and Robert Vadra. Here's why the ED believes that their relationship is suspicious. The legal part is that Mr. Bhandari rose from being a homeopath to an arms dealer, and it was a phenomenal rise. What's suspicious is that there's a mail trail on the London home that links Bhandari and Mr. Vadra. That's the ED's claim. These are all from the ED's charge sheet. What's accepted is, viewers, that in 2008, Mr. Bhandari floats Offset India Solutions. What's suspicious is he started after the 2006 UPA's 30% plowback policy. What's legal, viewers, is that in 2010, Bhandari gets the Pilatus deal to liaison with India. What's suspicious is that the huge deal to a newcomer with no prior experience, on what basis, what criteria, no one knows. What's legal is, viewers, that in 2010, Bhandari and Vadra, there's an email trail on a London home, no problems with that. What's suspicious is incidentally coincided with the Pilatus deal. Again, what's legal is June 2010, Bhandari sells Bryanston home for £1 million. What's suspicious is that the sale incidentally comes 6 days after signing the Pilatus deal. Viewers, there is much more that links the two together according to the Enforcement Directorate and the Income Tax Department. There is, in fact, a whole chart, a flow chart of how the money flowed. And all of that, viewers, today links back, according to the Enforcement Directorate, to Robert Vadra. There it is, the front end flow of funds, and you can see how it all comes back in this circle. Now, Bhandari, when he comes back, he'll be asked all these questions. Mr. Robert Vadra has been questioned on some of these issues. In most of his responses, he says he couldn't recollect or denied the imputation of the questions. Let's open this up, viewers. I want to bring in Mr. Tehseen Poonawala. Sanjay Jha and GVL Narasimha Rao stays with us, Member of Parliament and National Spokesperson of the BJP. Mr. Poonawala, why wouldn't today you commend the Enforcement Directorate from doing a good job in dotting the I's and crossing the T's? All of you said that this was a massive witch hunt. There was no truth to this particular case, but it appears that even the courts in London now believe that Mr. Bhandari has a case to answer for. Would you like to respond?
Yes, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'll be very, very brief because we are short of time. If Mr. Bhandari is a crook, his association, and I'm saying there's a lot of responsibilities with the BJP, and a BJP ex-minister for whom he shared over 400 phone calls, and that ex-minister on video is in the Bharat of Sanjay Bhandari's relatives, dancing and singing and welcoming Sanjay Bhandari's guests. As for the allegations on Robert Vadra, again I'm going to be extremely brief. This so-called London house, this house, I've heard about it for a million times since the past 8 years. Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad ji did a press conference which you covered, Rahul, where he said he had evidence in his pocket. They have not been able to get an iota of evidence. This house belongs to some British people. If the ED had any evidence of this house, so far they would have come to your channel, which is the most respected channel in this country, and presented it forward. And the so-called email trail that the ED speaks about, they've not even been able to get the IP address simply because that email address is not of Shri Vadra. Just because I make an email address saying Rahul Shankar@something.com does not become Rahul Shankar's email address. Rahul, you, I, Sanjay and the Honorable MP knows, if the ED had an iota of evidence, they would have gone after Robert. Let me just tell you, viewers, before I end, Robert has got a clean sheet from 4 courts, including the Supreme Court under Mr. Modi. The CBI said we've had no evidence against him. But the BJP continues to hound Mr. Vadra.
Okay, very quick response, Mr. Rao.
Rahul, first of all, it's a big victory for the Indian agencies to get extradition of a fugitive because I think after the 2015 Black Money Act was passed by Parliament, I think the manner in which he evaded taxes in India, the manner in which he laundered money has become a very watertight case for his extradition. It's a huge victory. And there are many others fugitives. They will all be finding their way back to India, and they will be tried under the laws of they'll be tried in the courts of India to get to ensure that people simply cannot get away with any kind of scams and from the statements of Tehseen, it's very clear that they are feeling the heat under the collar. Mr. Robert Vadra has already been questioned in other cases.
Right.
And in this case, there is a direct link between the payoffs from the Pilates deal and the property, the sale of the property in London. And also the mail exchanges between Robert Vadra and accomplice of Sanjay Bhandari clearly show that the entire flat was being renovated, the flat was being used by Mr. Robert Vadra. I think I'm sure Mr. Robert Vadra has more trouble coming his way.
Okay.
This time I think he will certainly, once confronted
Mr.
with
Sanjay
evidence
Jha.
from Sanjay Bhandari,
Okay,
Robert Vadra will have nothing to, I think he will have nothing to protect or nothing to cover his embarrassment.
Okay,
the Gandhis are already under the scanner in
one second. Let me bring in Mr. Sanjay Jha. Very importantly, I don't have much time on the show.
And
Mr. Rao, I don't have much time on the show.
Really cause a lot of trouble.
I want to give at least Sanjay Jha a minute and a half. Sanjay Jha, I just want to ask you very quickly.
Sure.
Okay, for a moment, let's set aside the Robert Vadra angle for just a few moments. Even though there is a case, charge sheet, etc. filed against him, the courts have taken cognizance of that, and Sanjay Bhandari remains a vital cog in the wheel. And if he is interrogated, now that he comes to India, there might be some progress in it. Let's just park that aside. Prima facie, there is enough evidence. The British courts have concluded to send Mr. Bhandari back to stand trial for taking kickbacks, alleged kickbacks, as a middleman when the UPA was in power, when certain very important deals, arms deals, were being negotiated. That in itself, sir, doesn't bode very well for the Congress party and its track record.
Rahul, a quick response. First, on the Robert Vadra issue. All this brouhaha is just hogwash. It's been over a decade and the BJP only keeps the pot boiling. This is the usual, destroy somebody's reputation relentlessly through aggressive propaganda. I think even GVL wants to laugh, but he's keeping a straight face. As far as the other issue is concerned, let me tell you, you remember the big drama over Mehul Choksi when he was going to be picked up by the CBI in a special chartered flight? What happened? Where is Nirav Modi today? Where is Mehul Choksi today? Where is Mr. Lalit Modi today? So the BJP basically does nothing but creates a headline and manipulates it. As far as Mr. Bhandari is concerned, he does appear to be a slimy character. But you raised a very good point. The corruption deals, if they are true, it may have happened under an ex-government. The question is who did it with him? Like, for example, I keep maintaining
that's the million-dollar question. That's what Mr. Sanjay Bhandari is going to come back and respond on. And I think that there needs to be a reason to worry. Mr. Jha said the BJP created a headline. No, it's the UK courts today who have created a headline, viewers. Let's be very, very, very certain about that. That's why we are doing this debate. This is something that has been assessed. The ED's case has been assessed by the UK courts, and they have decided that Mr. Bhandari has a case to answer for accepting kickbacks and passing that money around. We leave it at that, viewers. show tonight, viewers.
The Supreme Court Bar Association hosted a farewell for outgoing CJI Lalit. During his nostalgic speech, he said it would be a great feeling to pass on the baton to a senior-most judge, Justice Chandrachud. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh addressed a rally in Himachal's Baijnath ahead of elections, said there is not even a blip of corruption in the state under BJP's administration, which is why it should be voted to power once again. During her rally in Himachal Pradesh, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra focused on drug menace, said because of unemployment, drug abuse is widespread among the youth. Rahul Gandhi resumed Telangana leg of Bharat Jodo Yatra, which will enter Maharashtra later today. He will also address 2 rallies in the state on November 10 and 18.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. While Rahul Gandhi is on a Bharat Jodo Yatra, his inner team is whipping hate against Hindus. They are on an overdrive to berate the majority of the population in this country, as if Hindu bashing has now become their favorite pastime. Gandhi loyalist and working president of Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee, Satish Jarkiholi, has stoked a massive controversy by saying the word Hindu has a vulgar meaning. According to him, the word Hindu and the religion have foreign origins and have been imposed on Indians. Listen in to this shocking statement by Satish Jarkiholi.
हिंदू शब्द कहाँ से आ गया? ये हमारा है? पर्शियन का है, ईरान, इराक, कजाकिस्तान, उज्बेकिस्तान। फिर भारत का उधर का क्या संबंध है? फिर आपका कैसा होगा ये हिंदू? फिर आपको इतने उसको ऊपर बिठा के क्यों आप जा रहे हैं? आपका नहीं है वो शब्द। फिर उसका मीनिंग आपको समझ में आ गया तो आपके अब शर्म आ जाएंगे। हिंदू का जो मीनिंग है वो बहुत गंदी है।
Facing backlash for giving a long rope to netas with an anti-Hindu mindset, Congress was quick to resort to a templated response. It condemned the remark, but when it comes to action, nothing has been done up until now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all part of a larger conspiracy to spread Hinduphobia. From Brampton to Belgavi, hate against Hindus is on the rise. The surfacing of anti-Hindu posters, attack on Hindus and their symbols are becoming common globally. In Birmingham, a Hindu temple was ambushed by a mob and the Hindus inside the temple were subjected to abuse. In Leicester, they were hounded. During Dussehra, the temples of goddess Kali and Saraswati were vandalized in Bangladesh. Over 9 Hindus have paid the price for their faith with their lives in Kashmir. The BJP and Hindu groups see a pattern behind the visceral hatred towards Hindus. The BJP says that Congress takes pride in insulting the faith of the majority population in order to appease a particular community. They believe that those making anti-Hindu statements are doing at the behest of the Gandhi Parivar. Listen in.
This is what Congress is always doing, to attract the votes of one community. One thing I feel is that he has not studied the history of India, Bharata. If he has studied the history of Bharata and if he has spoken like that, I feel it is only to attract votes, to appease Muslims.
यह कांग्रेस और राहुल गांधी द्वारा हिंदुओं के प्रति जो नफरत का भाव है उसी को एक बार फिर से प्रकट किया है। यह कांग्रेस का नित्य कर्म हो गया है और अब आवश्यकता है कि हिंदू जागृत हो और ऐसे हिंदू द्रोही कांग्रेस को जबरदस्त सबक सिखाएं।
कांग्रेस की मानसिकता सदैव ही सनातन संस्कृति के विरोध में ही रहा है। कांग्रेस शुरू से ही हिंदू और हिंदुत्व को गाली देना, हमको बोको हरम, ISI, तालिबान से जोड़ देना, जिस प्रकार से सनातन संस्कृति को अपमानित करने का काम करते हैं, तो ऐसे नेताओं के खिलाफ कांग्रेस के वरिष्ठ नेता को जल्द से जल्द कार्रवाई करनी चाहिए।
Not just the Congress, on the other side, there is also the Aam Aadmi Party. Rajendra Pal Gautam, an MLA of the Aam Aadmi Party, who just last month was forced to resign after anti-Hindu statements, today once again said that Hindus should be made or will be made into a minority at the rate they are spreading terror in this country. Listen in to Aam Aadmi Party's Rajendra Pal Gautam.
जो हिंदू समाज अपने आप को बहुसंख्यक कहता है, लेकिन अपने ही बीच के लोगों को जिनकी मूंछ रखने पर हत्या करता है, घड़ा छू लेने पर हत्या करता है, मंदिर प्रवेश करने पर हत्या करता है, मूर्ति छू लेने पर हत्या करता है और बहन बेटियों के साथ बलात्कार भी करता है और उनकी फिर हत्या भी करता है। और जब मुलजिमों को गिरफ्तार करने की बात आती है तो मुलजिमों की जाति के लोग उनके फेवर में महापंचायतें करते हैं। इससे जो एक बड़े समाज के अंदर एक जो डर का वातावरण पैदा होता है, लोग जब दुखी होते हैं, उनके स्वाभिमान को ठेस लगती है, आत्म सम्मान के लिए रास्ता तलाशते हैं। उन्हें लगता है अगर जाति की वजह से उत्पीड़न तो जाति छोड़ दो। हिंदू आतंकवाद कभी नहीं बोला आज तक। फिर ये शब्द तो आपके अपने हैं, मेरे नहीं है।
And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight. Is the opposition so fixed up with Hindu bashing? Is it going to become a Hindu bashing champion? That's the question that we are asking. This is Hinduphobia. That's the hashtag and the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining me on the debate tonight, Gaurav Bhatia, national spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Vinod Bansal, national spokesperson of the VHP, Dr. Sumant Siraman, political analyst. But my first question goes to Mr. Lokesh Jindal, leader of the Congress party. And I want to ask you, Lokesh Jindal, how many times will you insult Hindus in this country? Just a few days ago, it was Shivraj Patil who said Gita jihad ka gyan deta hai. Today, Mr. Jarkiholi, who stands up and says कि Hindu का मतलब ही गंदा है, it's vulgar. And of course, you know, I can keep giving you examples of how Ram is actually a mythical character. That was the affidavit. Whatever Dr. Shashi Tharoor has said about a scorpion and India becoming a Hindu Pakistan. I want to ask you, Janeu on top of your coat, but Hindu bashing becoming your dharma? Lokesh Jindal?
Good evening, Navika. The statement was unfortunate. It has been condemned by the AICC. And this particular pattern is also observed in BJP. I mean, last month itself, Bansidhar Bhagat, the ex-state president of Uttarakhand, he insulted Goddess Saraswati, Goddess Lakshmi, Lord Shiva and Vishnu. But nowhere did BJP take any action, nor did it even condemn the statement. Secondly, when you talk about Dilip Ghosh, you talk about Bukal Nawab called Hanuman as Musalman. He said, like Salman, Hanuman is Musalman. Yogi Adityanath, he tried to associate caste with Hanuman. Now, when you talk about BJP, it is this political party which has set the narrative of politicization of religion, associating gods and goddesses with a particular religious mindset, with a particular political ideology and politicization of this religion. This must stop. Whether it is from any political party, be it Congress, be it BJP, any political party, they must restrict religion to a particular domain. We do not want monks who want to use religion as a means so as to become chief ministers, prime ministers. We want the pilgrimage sites to be sites for salvation, not for political realization. The statement is condemned and the All India Congress Committee has distanced itself, and it is unfortunate that such a statement was delivered.
Well, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, they've distanced themselves and so shut the book, don't point fingers at them. It's another matter that Mr. Rashid Alvi also comes out and says on a report, on a think tank which has said that Leicester and Birmingham violence acts were actually not the doing of any Hindu organizations. But he says कि भाई ये तो किसी RSS agent ने clean chit दिया. I want to ask you, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, is the Congress actually Sarv Dharm Premi, or is it only on the rampage as far as Hindu bashing is concerned?
Navika, I heard the Congress sympathizer very attentively. First, when his come turns next after I have made my statement, I challenge him to show the statement of the All India Congress Committee condemning the words of Jarkiholi. Second, he has not been expelled from the party. And the larger point that I am making today is, we all know how Congress party takes a lot of pride in calling itself a Muslim party. But when it comes to Hindus, they have this perpetual habit of hurting the sentiments of the Hindus. Not just treat them like second-rate citizens, but crush our pride. Navika, they want to take away our pride. You know, but what the ultimate result is? The Bharatiya Janata Party has also played a significant role. And I must say that when they treat us with hatred, the Hindus also, who take a lot of pride in their self-being, in their identity, they are teaching Congress party a befitting lesson. My point is very simple. Why is it that Mr. Kharge, who is the president of the Congress now, said that if Narendra Modi ji comes to power again, India will turn into a Sanatan Rashtra? Why this hatred for Sanatan Dharma? Can he even dare to utter a word against any other religion? Second, Rahul Gandhi, one of the tall leaders who is undergoing a Bharat Jodo Yatra, is actually more a leader who breaks India into religious identities, into caste identities, into regional identities. And why do I say that? Rahul Gandhi's statement, लड़कियां छेड़ने मंदिर में जाते हैं. Can he even dare to say the same lines for a person of another community? He can't. So the larger point is that this is not a new phenomena in the Congress. Rather, to survive and to thrive and to rise up the ladder, you have to abuse the Hindu community. But now I would say that the Hindu community has also become very, very vigilant, and they are aware of their rights, their political might. And the best way to teach Congress party a lesson is that during the elections, you don't use any foul language, you do not resort to violence, but you teach them their place by voting for parties who can respect the Hindu religion, the Hindutva culture that we have, and the identity of our country, and that is how the voters are getting back to them.
Lokesh Jindal, you want to respond to the questions raised to you by Mr. Bhatia?
Yes. Mr. Bhatia, your ex-Uttarakhand president, Bansidhar Bhagat, he said he advised the...
No, I asked you about AICC resolution.
Wait a minute.
I asked you about AICC resolution.
You said when your chance came...
No, I asked you.
Now,
I'm not interrupting you. I want to expose you on times now. I asked you about the AICC resolution.
Called Shiva.
Mr. Kharge's statement.
There is a god Shiva who has snake around his neck and water is always pouring from his head. What BJP did for such lewd statements?
All right, we'll ask that question. We'll ask that question of Gaurav Bhatia. Why don't you respond to the question that he is asking you on where is the action against Mr. Jarkiholi and where is the AICC statement condemning his statement?
Surjewala ji has...
Please ask him. He just made a false statement.
AICC General Secretary Surjewala ji has condemned
Surjewala.
So it has been...
Surjewala is not AICC. You lied on national television.
When you're talking about...
You lied.
Bhagat ji,
apologize.
Did BJP or any leader come out with any form of condemnation?
You lied.
No. What about Dilip Ghosh? Did you condemn Dilip Ghosh?
You lied.
No, he questioned the ancestry of Goddess Durga. Did you condemn him?
Well, I want to get in Mr. Anand Ranganathan. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, Mr. Lokesh Jindal is pointing to the acts of omission from the BJP while he is at pains, to try and find an answer to what has been said by Mr. Jarkiholi today or Mr. Rashid Alvi. Why do you think the Congress's only defense is to ask more questions rather than answer the questions that have been asked of them?
Good evening, Navika, and good evening to all your fellow panelists. Look, Hindu comes from Sindhu and idiot comes from Congress. Let's be very clear about this.
Let's not use unparliamentary language. You'll get away with it. We'll be hauled up for it.
Cretin comes from Congress. How's that? Look, no, but to be serious, this statement by a top Congress leader is not just a fringe element. That a Hindu has a dirty meaning and Indians would be ashamed of it is vile. But then again, the Congress has a history, Navika, of Hinduphobia. Let me explain. Just a few weeks ago, Rahul Gandhi met on his Bharat Jodo Yatra, that is very fast uniting India against the Congress. He met the virulently anti-Hindu pastor George Punaiya, who told him Jesus is the real God, not Shakti. The ex-Congress Home Minister then claimed Lord Krishna taught jihad to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. And recall how a Mahila Congress leader made a Gaumutra jibe, same as the Pulwama bomber. Then an alleged post by a Congress youth wing leader called Hinduism as a terrorist religion. Recently, a Goa Congress leader termed Hindu god Parshuram as a terrorist and a rapist. Congress mouthpiece National Herald routinely publishes Hinduphobic articles, including one where it said Hindu epics were replete with misogyny and Me Too instances. Remember, the Congress celebrates Tipu Jayanti, despite knowing he demolished hundreds of temples and converted and butchered lakhs of Hindus. And who can forget that the phrase saffron terror was coined by the Congress and that it wanted to pass the communal violence bill where only the majority, i.e. Hindus, could be held guilty in a communal riot. Last but not least, remember how the Congress blamed the Hindu RSS for the 26/11 terror attacks? Had Kasab not been caught alive, it is beyond doubt that the Congress would have fortified its theory. Then there was this Congress dispensation in 2004 that asked a Hindu DD anchor to not display his Hindu sacred symbol Kalava. Remember how Congress leaders publicly butchered a calf just to mock Hindu sensibilities in Kerala? Recall how time and again the Congress derides and insults and denigrates Hindutva, despite the fact that, quote, Hindutva means the Indian culture and not merely the Hindu religion, unquote. This was the famous conclusion of Supreme Court back in 1995, packed with judges with left, liberal and centrist predilection.
Well,
in a judgment written by none other than the liberal hero Justice C.R. Verma. On the other hand,
you are quoting
Navika, please 10 seconds.
You are saying that BJP
please do not interrupt. Please don't be so rapid. Please don't be Anand-phobic. Please, just 10 seconds. Navika, in fact, on the other hand, how many instances are there where the Congress has abused Islam or Islamic organizations? In fact, it demanded hanging of Kamlesh Tiwari for making a comment it considered Islamophobic, and its prominent leader fought against the banging of Simi. And remember how PM Manmohan Singh on the floor of our parliament demanded an apology from Denmark for the prophet
Now it's not a monologue, it's a dialogue, it's a debate.
Now, why are you so rattled? Why are you so rattled?
And a monologue.
Why are you
so Can you actually contradict any of the facts presented by Anand Ranganathan?
That is why he is so rattled.
Give me a chance.
That is why he is so rattled.
Okay. Tell me, factually, where is Dr. Anand Ranganathan wrong?
I'll tell you.
Tell me one instance. Navika, no, 1 second. No, Navika, this is very unfair, you know. I gave 13 instances. 13. Let him rebut even one. Challenge me on even one.
Okay.
Wait, I'll answer that.
Yes, Lokesh Jindal. Can you rebut him even on one?
Yes, listen to this.
Congress challenge.
Is not against, listen to me now carefully. Congress is not against the beliefs of Hindu religion, but it is against the superstition that BJP tends to spread all across the country.
Is this rebuttal?
It is against
as a law degree.
That BJP
Naveen,
This is not a rebuttal. This is not a rebuttal on the 13 instances given by Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Can you rebut even one? And can you give us one statement that you have said against any other religion, as many as you have said against the Hindus? Can you give us even one example, Lokesh Jindal?
And whenever Congress combats this, at that point of time, you call that Congress is anti.
This is the reason why. Gaurav.
My friend, if you have a fact, put it on the table now, and if you don't, then I'm moving to the next speaker on the panel, because you're not being able to counter any one of the statements that have been made by Dr. Anand Ranganathan, Lokesh Jindal.
I gave a clear answer.
What is the clear answer? What is the clear answer? Which of the 13 examples is wrong?
Give me one. Tell me I'm wrong.
All forms of belief that BJP has been.
Did a Goa minister
political power?
Did a Goa minister not abuse Lord Parashuram? Did he or did he not? Tell me. Did the Goa Congress minister abuse or not abuse Lord Parashuram?
Did he not?
Navika, we can't. You know, this is.
I don't know. Lokesh Jindal, you've been thoroughly exposed, Lokesh Jindal. So take a deep breath. Go through your Google research a bit more. Find something which can counter the facts that have been put out by Dr. Anand Ranganathan, and I will come back to you. Suman Siraman.
Navika, you will be accused of homicide. Please don't ask Jindal to take a deep breath. हम दिल्ली में हैं. Please be very careful.
Okay. On that note, sarcasm noted not just by me, by our viewers too. But I want to get in Suman Siraman. You know, Dr. Anand Ranganathan has listed out as far as the Congress is concerned. Let me also list out the Aam Aadmi Party. which is the latest entrant into the bandwagon of the Hindu so-called siyasat or Hindu politics. They of course need Ganesh and Lakshmi on the notes, okay? But Mr. Rajendra Pal Gautam, he sits and he gives a lecture and he says that Hindu terror is spreading, it is killing all of us, and very soon Hindus will be reduced to a minority. Now this is the same political party where Mr. Arvind Kejriwal says that he is an avatar of Krishan and everybody else around him, his opponent, is actually a Kans. Now I want to ask you, I know that politics is very important, religion is very important for politics. But does politics not have a religion at all? Can you actually go around abusing people's faith, call them names? And this Mr. Rajendra Pal Gautam is actually a repeat offender. 9th of October, he said what he said against Hindu gods and goddesses, had to quit the ministerial berths that he had, and today, 7th of November, not even 1 month after that, he is back at the same job. What's going on, Suman Siraman?
Yeah, Navika, first of all, let me state that it is deeply unfortunate that we are, literally wasting the nation's time on such issues which at the end of the day do not have an impact on the development of the country. This statement of Mr. Jarkiholi is deeply condemnable. Mr. Surjewala says the statement attributed to Satish Jarkiholi is deeply unfortunate,
nor it is important
deserves
for Congress.
to be rejected,
and Hindus are already the second class citizen of the country.
Unequivocally. Please wait, sir. I did not interrupt anybody. 1 minute. I did not interrupt. If you say that 80% of the population is second class citizens,
I'm being hurt by your statement.
It is only a reflection. If 1 minute, sir. 80% of the population feels that they are second class citizens. It is only a very, very sad state of affairs. I am a Hindu. I don't feel for a moment that I am a second class citizen. Satish Jarkiholi, who made this idiotic, absurd statement which deserves to be fully condemned, is himself a Hindu. The Jarkiholi family itself.
Okay, so since you are also a Hindu, and you are calling Satish Jarkiholi's statement an unfortunate statement, tell me, Shivraj Patil, who says Gita teaches, in Gita, Krishna teaches Arjun jihad, do you agree with that?
Look, Navika, we can go on and on about idiotic statements made by Congress leaders. Now, there are equally idiotic statements made by leaders from other parties, but we will choose only the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. Now that the Gujarat elections are there, the Aam Aadmi Party is also a prime target because they are emerging as a force in Gujarat. Rajendra Pal Gautam, by the way, resigned from the Council of Ministers to the best of my knowledge. So let's be very clear on all these things. Action has been taken by various political parties, and now Arvind Kejriwal has caught on to the BJP's game, and that is why he says put Ganesha and Lakshmi goddess images on the banknote. He wants to.
So you are saying he's caught on to the game. So religion is just
the same approach.
So religion is just a game as far as all of these political parties are concerned. Gaurav Bhatia, would you want to respond? Would you want to respond? He says Rajendra Pal Gautam has resigned, so no problem, we should not raise a question. It's another matter that he continues to be an Aam Aadmi Party MLA even today and still continues to make those statements which have neither been condemned nor have been commented upon by the Aam Aadmi Party, number one. And number two, he talks about stupid comments being made by Congress leaders. How come there are so many stupid comments that are made and yet the Congress only makes these stupid comments related to one religion, not to any other? Is this just a coincidence, Gaurav Bhatia ji?
Navika, first of all, it is important for us to highlight how blatantly Congress sympathizers come on your program and lie. I have the Twitter handle of AICC open right in front of me. There is not an iota of apology, as the Congress sympathizer was saying. Second, very succinctly, it has been narrated by Anandji how time and again the Congress party is a habitual offender, and Aam Aadmi party is also now following the footsteps of Congress party. First, they hurt the sentiments of the Hindu community. Second, they will not dare say a word, even if the members of the other community are at fault and are hurting the sentiments of the Hindus because they are worried about their vote bank. Third, no official condemnation will come from the party head or the party official handle or channel. And for the Aam Aadmi party, I want to also say it is very hurting to hear Sumant C. Raman connecting it to elections. So the logic that he is giving, if there are elections in a state, then Hindu sentiments can be heard, and if a media channel is trying to discuss the issue, the same should not be done. And he very, conveniently says that it is not an issue to be discussed because it doesn't concern the country. Rather, I would say that it is a matter of pride for every citizen, even if he is a non-Hindu, because nobody wants that sentiments of a fellow citizen should be heard. Just Somanji, please allow me to complete my point. I did not.
Is it going to give a debating? This is going to give a billion people jobs.
All right. You made that point. He's responding to your point. Just hold on.
Did I interrupt?
Please.
Yes, Gaurav.
Is it going to reduce poverty?
Navika,
is it going to reduce unemployment? It is going to.
So Satish Jarkioli was standing there and reducing poverty, my friend. Was he telling people of Karnataka about reduction of poverty when he was saying that Hindu is a dirty word? Just calm down, Sumant C. Raman. Complete your point, Gaurav. Anand Ranganathan is also raising his hand, and I need to get in Vinod Bansal as well.
Thank you.
Gaurav.
Only a minute. Only a minute. First, let me counter him on employment, inflation, price rise and poverty. So when the Congress says Bhagwan Ram Kalpanik hai, they are reducing poverty. When Rahul Gandhi says ladki chhedne mandir mein jate hain, it is about employment. When Kharge says that Modi ji coming back to power will mean that India will become a Sanatan Rashtra, it is about eradicating poverty. What is your logic? And I must expose Arvind Kejriwal, Navika. Arvind Kejriwal, when he was asked about Rajendra Gautam, do you know what he said to a channel? He said, I did not sack him. Rather, he resigned. And on the other side, we will see him taking credit. And second, about Gopal Italia, when he was asked a pointed question that Gopal Italia is hurting the sentiments of the Hindus, he said, Gopal Italia travels with me in my own car and he is very popular amongst all. So there is no regret, there is no introspection. They will continue to hurt the Hindu sentiments, and Hindus will unite to fight for their pride and teach these communal parties a befitting lesson.
Well, Vinod Bansal ji, I want to ask you simply this. क्या बड़ा कन्वीनियंट लगता है इनको कि किसी भी हिंदू को आए तमाचा लगाकर चले जाएं? क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि राजनीति का जो एक सबसे बड़ा एजेंडा है वो है धर्म का इस्तेमाल, लेकिन राजनीति में कोई धर्म नहीं है कि किसी को भी आप कुछ भी कह दे और बस निकल जाए। और ये सिर्फ हिंदुओं के साथ या हिंदू धर्म के साथ क्यों होता है? चुनाव आते हैं तो इनको धर्म याद आता है और उसमें भी हिंदू धर्म को सिंगल आउट करके नीचे दिखाया जाता है। ये एक पैटर्न नजर आता है, क्यों?
Navika ji, thank you very much for keeping into myself in the debate after 30th minutes of the debate. एनीवे खैर मैं कह रहा हूँ कि देखिए आज मुझे बड़ा ताज्जुब हो रहा है कि आपके चैनल पर बैठे हुए दो विद्वान, चाहे गौरव भाटिया की बात हो या आनंद रघुनाथन जी हो, दोनों इस बात को क्यों नहीं समझ पा रहे कि आखिरकार भैंस के आगे बीन बजाने से लाभ क्या। आखिरकार ये दोनों जो पैनलिस्ट हैं जिनको डिफेंड कर रहे हैं, वो आखिरकार वो लोग, उनका कैरेक्टर कैसा है? आखिरकार वो लोग जो ऑलरेडी हिंदुत्व को, हिंदू देवी देवताओं को गाली दे चुके, the party whose character is specifically defined in the eyes of the people of the country कि पिछले 70 वर्षों में उन्होंने हिंदुओं को दोयम दर्जे का नागरिक डिक्लेयर करके मुस्लिम अपीजमेंट की पॉलिसी के खिलाफ खंडिंग नहीं उन्होंने।
मैं तो उल्टा बोल रहा हूं।
आखिरकार
नाविका प्लीज क्लैरिफाई।
नहीं, Anand Ranganathan, he is saying,
मैं आपकी बात,
he is understood what you are saying. He is saying आप भैंस के आगे बीन बजा रहे हैं, as in you are trying to convince the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party, who always condemn the Hindus anyways. So why are we trying to convert their thought process? That's what he is saying.
Right.
Yes, Vinod Bansal ji.
Correct. They can't be converted because they were born and brought up for that same. आप देखिए जिनकी प्रवृत्ति, प्रकृति और संस्कृति हिंदुओं का विरोध करना है, हिंदुत्व का विरोध करना है, भारतीय संस्कृति का मानहानि करनी है और उसका चीरहरण करना है, उसको उससे आप प्रश्न कर रहे हो। बेकार में ऐसे लोगों से प्रश्न करने का कोई लाभ नहीं मेरे भाई। ऐसे ये लोग हैं, वो हैं जिनका चाल चरित्र, चेहरा पूरी तरह से भारत विरोधी बन चुका है। आप देखिए कि जो व्यक्ति 10,000 के लोगों की फौज में जाकर के कहता हो कि मैं देवी देवताओं को नहीं मानूंगा, देवी देवताओं को नहीं मानूंगा, मैं संकल्प लेता हूं और संकल्प दिलवा भी रहा है, और उसके बावजूद भी उसका नेता जो है बड़ी बेशर्मी के साथ प्रधानमंत्री को पत्र लिख के कहता है कि मुझे लक्ष्मी गणेश सरस्वती के फोटो चाहिए उसमें नोटों पर। क्या शर्म आनी चाहिए इनको डूब के मर जाना चाहिए ऐसे लोगों को। हिंदू धर्म की जो
Lokesh Jindal, what's your defense? Lokesh Jindal, what's your defense? Why? And I can read out.
नाविका जी मेरी बात पूरी नहीं। नाविका जी may I continue my words? Please allow me to continue.
Yes, Vinod Bansal ji.
मैं कह रहा हूं देखिए, सिंपली एक लेटर लिखने से काम नहीं चलेगा। आखिरकार नाविका जी मुझे बताइए, क्या हिंदुओं के सेंटिमेंट्स नहीं होते क्या? हिंदुओं को राइट नहीं है क्या आप ये चाहते हैं कि हिंदू के अंदर भी वो सरतन से जुदा करने वाले खड़े हो जाएं इनके लिए? नहीं, हिंदू समाज कभी ऐसा नहीं बनेगा, लेकिन ऐसी नौबत मत आने दीजिए, मैं कहना चाहता हूं आपको। और आखिरकार ये हिंदुओं को माइनॉरिटी देखने का
आप इस शो पर, विनोद बंसल जी, आप इस शो पर अल्टीमेटम मत दीजिए, लेकिन हाँ सीख लेने की जरूरत है। एंड आई वांट टू आस्क यू लोकेश जिंदल, हिंदू आतंकवाद का शब्द है, हिंदू आतंकवाद किसने किया? चिदम्बरम, राहुल गांधी, सुशील कुमार शिंदे। राम सेतु इज काल्पनिक, ये किसने कहा? आपका एफिडेविट। भारत हिंदू पाकिस्तान बन जाएगा, किसने कहा? शशि थरूर। मोदी की तुलना में शिवलिंग पर बैठे बिच्छू से किया, किसने किया? शशि थरूर। गीता में जिहाद बताया जा रहा है, ये किसने किया? शिवराज पाटिल। आई वांट टू आस्क यू लोकेश जिंदल, आर ऑल ऑफ दीज स्टेटमेंट्स just a mere coincidence?
बहुत लंबी लिस्ट है जी।
Just a mere coincidence?
I'll answer. Now this enlightened BJP employee, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, when he was employed with the Samajwadi Party, he delivered a statement. It's there online that the moment BJP government has come to power, there has been communalism all over the country, and BHP and BJP, they are delivering Hindutva ideas even on Independence Day. So now this enlightened gentleman,
my friend Lokesh Jindal ji, you know, if you get personal, he is going to get personal, and that's not going to take the debate anywhere. However, the point you are making is very clear that he was talking about the BJP. So let's stick to the BJP. Today's identity is the BJP, and if you can only find a statement, of his from the Samajwadi Party days, you know why he left that party and then he has joined the BJP. So Lokesh Jindal, you really don't have a defense. Anand Ranganathan, you've been raising your point. Last 30 seconds to Anand Ranganathan. Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
No, I think
yes,
there was a
very briefly.
Me, allow me 30 seconds after Anand ji.
Yes, okay.
No, very briefly, and with due respect to the good Dr. Raman, I really respect him, his views, but can I please disagree vehemently with both his views? Number one, for him saying that why are we debating this at all? Is this going to give us millions of jobs? Well, you know, there are hundreds of events and newsworthy things that happen all around the day. 20, 30, 40 different news items have been discussed since the morning on Times Now. Things are happening in parallel, Dr. Raman. By your logic, should we have discussed what Nupur Sharma did or the hijab thing?
About what?
Is that going to bring jobs? So, you know, there are different stories and every story is being discussed. Since morning, Times Now, no, 1 second, please give me time. Since morning, Times Now has discussed demonetization also, has discussed a lot of economic things. has discussed. Now, I want to come to the second point. Navika, please allow me, Dr. Raman, because what you said hurt me. So please give me 20 seconds. Please, with your permission. Yeah. Because what you said was, Navika, you said, and I'm quoting you, Navika, I am a Hindu. I don't feel like a second-class citizen. Now, I am also a Hindu. It's a different matter that you may be a believing Hindu, I am a non-believing atheist Hindu. But the fact of the matter is, we are not second-class citizens. I can give you proof that we are ninth-class citizens. And since yesterday, from the airport at Jaipur, somebody came and told me, sir, there is one more, so we are 10th-class citizens. Do you want me to give you all the instances why there is rampant discrimination against Hindus? 800 million Hindus in India are being discriminated against. How would you feel if you were a Muslim and you were not allowed to legally take back your place of worship? How would you feel if your land was suddenly usurped?
That's the whole point. The point is here that Hindu symbols and Hindu religion have become virtually a football because everybody only uses them during elections. Suman Raman, I'm running out of time, but Gaurav Bhatia has a right to respond to Lokesh Jindal because there was a personal comment made. Gaurav Bhatia, 30 seconds.
No, Navika, I would not make any personal comment against Lokesh Jindal, but I must tell him that when I serve my party not because I'm employed there, but I serve my party because I believe in the leader of my party, Shri Narendra Modi ji. And if you're talking about employment, let me tell you, Rahul Gandhi actually applied for the post of spokesperson of the BJP. But he was told he is not even fit to be a peon. So that is the difference. Well, please don't make personal comments.
Well, let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I always feel that religion definitely, like Dr. Suman C. Raman says, doesn't really create an agenda on which governance should be based on. But why do political parties pick up these issues and make them the agenda during elections? Because politics uses religion, but politics sometimes, for some parties, has no religion. If it comes to using gods and goddesses, they will use them for votes and then abuse them the next time. Can't we all see through it? That's the point. Thank you very much to my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a big win for the Modi government. Another fugitive is in India's net. A UK court today has approved the extradition of fugitive arms dealer Sanjay Bhandari, the man accused of defrauding the Indian tax authorities and receiving kickbacks in an arms deal during the UPA era. This man is believed to be a close aide of Sonia Gandhi's son-in-law, Robert Vadra. The ED had earlier claimed to have in its possession emails exchanged between Vadra and Sanjay Bhandari relating to the renovation of a mansion in London, which was later sold off to Bhandari's aide, Hampi, in 2010. The ED claimed that this property was a kickback paid to Vadra for introducing Bhandari to top UPA ministers and officials for a petroleum deal. Now, with Sanjay Bhandari's return to India with the extradition being cleared, it's expected that more skeletons will tumble out of the ED, would be able to uncover the truth of these kickbacks received by Bhandari, which are believed to be directly linked to Vadra. Bhandari's meteoric rise from handling homeopathy clinics of his father to handling arms deals, setting up Offset India Solutions during the UPA era, to then acting as the alleged middleman in the Pilatus deal in 2009, and Pilatus then making payments to his company's bank accounts, is all under the scanner. So we'll go across to our panelists joining us on this big victory and a big debate on the show. Gaurav Bhatia, Anand Ranganathan, Lokesh Jindal and Dr. Sumant Raman continue to be with us. Big victory, Gaurav Bhatia, for the Enforcement Directorate as well as for India. The Modi government has been relentless, and today Sanjay Bhandari's extradition clearly will unravel the mystery of these so-called kickbacks. Will it?
Navika, absolutely. We will take it to the logical conclusion. and it's a testimony of the firm resolve of Shri Narendra Modi ji's government that we have zero tolerance for corruption. And some people, especially in the Gandhi Parivar, Navika, felt they are above the law. But now the law is catching up, and this is just a beginning. Even the big fish, the Gandhi Parivar, will not be spared. However, there is a question that people of India are posing, and the question is this: why this obsession with all these deals where there is kickback? Why this obsession with the farmers' land? Why this obsession with dealing in dubious trades? The reason is very simple, because Rahul Gandhi is less of a leader and more of a property dealer. Robert Vadra is nothing but a conduit. And now I think with all the facts coming out and with extradition becoming a possibility, once this accused comes back, imagine the kind of evidence that will be there with the investigating agencies to nail the corrupt Gandhi Parivar.
Dr. Sumansi Raman, it's taken 8 years, but here it is, the extradition and the email exchange. We on Times Now have played this email exchange for so long that I possibly remember it by heart. Many emails going up and down on the apartment refurbishment, on chandeliers being changed, Manoj Arora, assistant to Mr. Robert Vadra, and Robert Vadra himself in a couple of mails, tickets being booked, all of that happening between Sanjay Bhandari. Do you think skeletons are now going to tumble out and Congress will have a tough time explaining this?
First of all, Navika, let me object very strongly to being prevented from rebutting to Dr. Ranganathan on the previous debate. And I just want to make one very important point. Please take your primetime debates over the last 1 month, put out the data of the number of Hindu-related debates that have been done versus the debates done on inflation, unemployment and price rise, and I rest my case there. The nation is watching this, they will know the answer
Dr.
to this
Sumansi Raman, I sometimes feel you're a closet editor. Why don't you join Times Now and decide what we need to debate?
1 minute.
My friend, you're a closet editor.
No, I won't. No, but the point is...
I'll get up. I'll give this seat to you. This is your chair. Why don't you, Mr. Dr. Sumansi Raman, become the editor of Times Now, decide what we do morning till night. I'm happy to have you here. I'm happy to have you here. I think you are a closet journalist.
I won't.
Come on, Dr. Sumansi Raman. We need more people as journalists here.
I won't last more than 3 days. Let
you
me
won't?
tell you that.
You
and
won't?
It's not because not because I can't.
In which case, Dr. Sumansi Raman, Dr. Sumansi Raman, I've spent 30 years doing this job. Leave my job to me. Leave the decision of what debate I want to do to me. Because you yourself have admitted that you won't even last 3 days.
I was answering Dr. Ranganathan.
No.
I was answering.
Navika, you are not a pliable
that's
journalist.
Not because I can't put out quality stuff.
You are not a pliable
because
journalist.
I can't do debates on this.
That's the pain.
That's not because I can't put out quality stuff. It's because I can't do what is being done. Let me answer the question.
Next time you should say the topic of the debate with Navika.
You're a good doctor. You do the job you're doing. Allow me to do the job that I'm doing. Please.
1 minute.
आप employment बढ़ा रहे हैं तो मेरे पेट पे लात मत मारिए. आप employment बढ़ाना चाहते हैं ना देश की. मेरी नौकरी क्यों ले रहे हैं बॉस?
Vijay Mallya is coming.
The country is already.
Vijay Mallya is coming tomorrow. He is getting caught. Nirav Modi is being caught. Tomorrow he is coming. Flight has gone to bring Mehul Choksi. How often we have seen on this? Bhandari still has appeals
the verdict
to go.
has been reserved.
So this is more of a propaganda thing. Yes, that a lower court.
You are not even aware of the facts of today's debate.
Yes, sir.
And Vijay Mallya will also come back. Nirav Modi will also come back. और आप लोग मातम मनाएंगे.
Didn't we do
मातम मनाएंगे मातम.
He will.
छाती पीटिएगा. हो ये क्या हो गया?
People will come
Christian
back.
Michel came back or not, Suman ji? Christian Michel लौटा या नहीं लौटा?
Who let them go?
छाती पीटी आपने.
Who let them go?
क्रिश्चियन मिशेल आया कि नहीं? वॉरेन एंडरसन की तरह भगाया नहीं,
मालिया गो,
कोट्रोची की तरह भगाया नहीं.
My friend Dr. Suman C. Raman is asking the question, who let them go? So let me get in Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Who let them go? Isn't the question about who made them what they are?
Can I give one word answer to Dr. Raman's question, who let them go?
Yeah.
BJP. Now let me come to the crux of this issue. Navika, in the interests of your viewers and you, I want to give a full disclosure. I have had lunch with Robert Vadra's brother-in-law, Tehseen Poonawala, but I clarify that no deals were struck. So the viewers must know this, that I know Tehseen well. Number two, yes, but I mean he's paid for the, so we have transacted. I have eaten. Yeah, but can I come back to this, please, Lokesh? Please, you've interrupted me enough. Please.
No,
thank you.
That's not me. I did not.
Well, that was Gaurav. So.
Anand bhai.
All right. You know, lawyers, your voice sounds so familiar. Both your voices sound very familiar. Both are lawyers.
Yes.
Navika, I want to ask you a question. You know, you got up from the chair, but I want to put you back in the chair in the spot. You know, since 2013, the BJP has been crying from the rooftops कि अगले साल बस 6 महीने में, बस 8 महीने में रॉबर्ट वाड्रा जेल के अंदर होगा. और अभी क्या कर रहे हैं, रॉबर्ट वाड्रा घूम रहा है और जो होम्योपैथिक उसका फ्रेंड है उसको एक्स्ट्राडाइट कराया क्योंकि वो गायब हो गया था. You were responsible. You broke the Augusta Westland scam, Navika. You were one of the prominent journalists. Can you please tell me क्या रिजल्ट आया उसका? Just tell me. 8 साल हो गए ना उसको. So please let us take this.
8 साल नहीं 11 साल. 2011 I was in Milan. You know, uncovering the Augusta Westland. 2011. 2000. I was 11 years younger. Gaurav Bhatia. It's a valid question. Many people are asking. 11 साल से तो I have been doing that story. 2010 was the Commonwealth Games camp. What happened?
Yeah, please allow me now. Anand bhai, I must share these facts with you. Christian Michel extradited. Extradition is not an easy process, but it was the will of the government. He came back. He is linked with the Augusta Westland deal. Charge sheet has been filed in that. You talk about Robert Vadra. Anand bhai, you are a very learned man. Do you know that Robert Vadra has taken anticipatory bail in one of the cases where he is charged under corruption? Third, is it not true that even in case of Nirav Modi, the government has been very vehemently pursuing the matter, and just 3 weeks back, the appellate court in the UK has reserved the judgment. Same goes for Vijay Mallya. You know, he lost his case there, then he appealed, and the High Court, the appellate court, has reserved the judgment. What does it show? It shows that every strong measure is being taken by the government, and the time is not far when all these corrupt people will come back, and that is why I say they are all linked to the big fish, the Gandhi Parivar, and even the Gandhi Parivar will have to face the consequences of all the corrupt acts that they have undertaken.
Can I
answer? Mr. Lokesh Jindal, countdown.
Yes, Mr. Bhatia, the last extradition treaty that was signed with UK was in 1993. And if the government was really sincere about extraditing these fugitives, it could have renewed this particular treaty with...
Come on, Lokesh, you are doing waterboundary here.
Please do not interrupt. Please do not interrupt.
Is there any other family in the country in politics which has 3 members out on bail on corruption charges? Sonia Gandhi out on bail on corruption charges. Rahul Gandhi out on bail on corruption charges. Robert Vadra out on bail on corruption charges. And you have the gumption to come and defend them?
No, you want to say that with Sanjay brothers, the BJP government is procuring crude oil.
Abhi, right? Should I go on the other national
Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, one question that people of this country want to ask you, and that question must be answered. 8 years and counting. 8 years and counting. Everybody may be on bail, but nobody is behind bars.
Can I
That's
respond
my
to that?
question.
And
can I
And Anand Ranganathan is adding to my question.
Let me answer that for the viewers also.
Gaurav bhai, you rebutted me.
Okay.
Gaurav bhai, मैं आपकी बहुत इज्जत
Let
करता हूँ. मैं हाँ बस एक very simple question. Gaurav bhai, please. Who changed the notice of detain to inform and allowed Vijay Mallya to escape? Simple question.
Mallya. Exactly. To leave. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. So, one by one, let me answer. Navika, when you talk about 7-8 years being taken in ensuring that somebody is pronounced guilty, let me tell you, investigating agencies can file a charge sheet and then prosecute. But once the charge sheet is filed and charges are framed, it is for the court to ensure that there is a speedy trial. It is not for the investigating agency. And in India and in judiciary here, we all know that it takes time for the trial to complete. Second, I will take a lot of pride in the fact that in the last 8 years, this has been a clean government, not a single scam, and every citizen has faith in the leadership of Shri Narendra Modi.
I want to ask one question, please.
Dr. Ranganathan asked me a question. Ranganathan ji, can I respond to Ranganathan ji, please?
Yes. Go ahead, but I want to now put the question.
Yes.
Gaurav Bhatia has rightly raised. Anand Ranganathan, can you blame the government? Can you blame the investigation agency if the courts take time to go through a trial?
Let me answer that. Let me answer that. It's a great question. Yes, our courts take time, but why can we not blame the investigative agencies if the notice of detaining Mallya has been changed to inform?
No, that is fine. That is fine, and we've been over that several times. Today is the extradition. I'm saying on the point that Gaurav Bhatia raises, if there is a charge sheet that has been filed and charges have been framed, and courts still give anticipatory bail and courts still stay arrest, what do you do?
Navika, if he was not allowed to run away, there would not be this 5-year delay in extraditing him.
Respond, Gaurav Bhatia. 30 seconds.
No, you are only on the case of Vijay Mallya.
Exactly.
No, Navika,
sometimes
Dr. Ranganathan...
What about Nirav Modi? When did Nirav Modi...
Allow me.
Gaurav, you mentioned it.
Allow me.
I'm running out of time. Do not interrupt him. Nirav Modi, Vijay Mallya, Sanjay Bhandari, all of them ran out of India. Respond. Who let them go? Gaurav Bhatia.
Yes.
Who let the dogs out?
Dr. Ranganathan is very selective at times. I gave many examples like Christian Michel being extradited. I gave example of Robert Vadra seeking anticipatory bail on the charge that no action has been taken. I also told him how the government is pursuing the extradition of Vijay Mallya as well as Nirav Modi, Mehul Choksi, and we all know that the government has succeeded. You are pointing to an error of judgment of an investigating agency that does not take up the firm resolve of the government at
error of judgment.
Yes.
Certainly questions will be asked about how these offenders were allowed to get away. However, what happened then and what happened today? The case has moved forward. Extradition has been allowed by a UK court. Will we see follow-up action? Read that as, will the offenders be actually proved in their cases to be the offenders? Will they be behind bars? Because people of India are asking this question. If there was corruption, then who is paying for it? Who is the person amongst the powerful who will be behind the bars? Because that is the taste of the pudding, and it will only be known when it is eaten. Will we see people behind bars sooner than later? It's been an 8-year-long wait. That's the question India is asking. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on the Newshour tonight. Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and be safe. And I'll see you tomorrow on the same show, the Newshour at 9.
You were watching the Newshour at 9. Stay tuned.
most pressing issues, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivchankar.
आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेमा
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए ही कल रात की सावन का बनना चाहेंगे उसको तो आप बनने नहीं देंगे। आप दिमाग में सबको ऐसा डाल के रखेंगे फिल्म स्टार ही बनेगा। आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेमा
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए ही कल रात की सावन का ऑल्सो बिकम। बहुत अच्छी बात है।
आपका क्या विचार है इस बार? आप
मेरा विचार क्या मैं बताऊं? मेरा विचार भगवान के ऊपर है। लॉर्ड कृष्णा विल डू इट।
तो मैं तो देश की सेवा के लिए ही पैदा हुई हूँ और मैं देश की सेवा करना चाहती हूँ और
You're watching the News Hour at 9.
The Supreme Court Bar Association hosted a farewell for outgoing CJI Lalit. During his nostalgic speech, he said it would be a great feeling to pass on the baton to a senior-most judge, Justice Chandrachud. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh addressed a rally in Himachal's Baijnath ahead of elections, said there is not even a blip of corruption in the state under BJP's administration, which is why it should be voted to power once again. During her rally in Himachal Pradesh, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra focused on drug menace, said because of unemployment, drug abuse is widespread among the youth. Rahul Gandhi resumed Telangana leg of Bharat Jodo Yatra, which will enter Maharashtra later today. He will also address two rallies in the state on November 10 and 18. Youth Congress held a protest in Kerala's Thiruvananthapuram demanding the resignation of Mayor Arya Rajendran over the politician nepotism charge against her. Indian Railways started the trial run of Chennai-Mysore Vande Bharat Express from Chennai's MGR railway station. The train will be flagged off by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on November 11. Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav inspected the under-construction project at Deoband railway station, said discussions are underway to modernize the station.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
You're watching the Newshour Agenda, India's most loved primetime show at 10. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Have you noticed recently a tendency in our country to pontificate only about Hinduism? Actually, even pontificating is fine because people are entitled to an opinion. But there is an increasing tendency now to denigrate, casually insult, run down and sneer at. The latest to join that bandwagon is Karnataka Congress's working president Satish Jarkiholi, who in a completely unexpected and seemingly unprovoked attack today decided to call Hinduism alien to India and also a dirty word itself. First, listen in to the pearls of wisdom of Mr. Jarkiholi.
हिंदू शब्द कहाँ से आ गया है? ये हमारा है, पर्शियन का है, ईरान, इराक, कजाकिस्तान, उज्बेकिस्तान। फिर भारत का उधर का क्या संबंध है? फिर आपका कैसा होगा हिंदू? फिर आपको इतने उसको ऊपर बिठा के क्यों आप जा रहे हैं? आपका नहीं है वो शब्द। फिर उसका मीनिंग आपको समझ में आ गया तो आपके अब शर्म आ जाएंगे। हिंदू का जो मीनिंग है वो बहुत गंदी है।
Now, Hinduism is dirty. This is what Mr. Jarkiholi has to say. The sad truth is that what he said is not an exception to the rule. This kind of casual disregard for Hindu faith has been seen far too frequently in recent times. On most occasions, even if the party associated with the leader dissociated itself with the comment, it has taken no action against the offender himself. From Congressman Shivraj Patil, who very recently declared that Sri Krishna gave lessons in jihad to Arjun in the Gita, to A. Raja of the DMK, who declared that till you're a Hindu, you remain a Shudra, to VCK chief Tol Tirumavalavan, who has decided to hand out printed copies of the Manusmriti declaring that according to Hindu faith, all women are prostitutes. What exactly explains this kind of casual disregard or perhaps a deliberate affront only for one community's feelings?
This is what Congress is always doing, to attract the votes of one community. One thing I feel is that he has not studied the history of India, Bharata. If he has studied the history of Bharata and if he has spoken like that, I feel it is only to attract votes, to appease Muslims.
कांग्रेस की मानसिकता सदैव ही सनातन संस्कृति के विरोध में ही रहा है। कांग्रेस शुरू से ही हिंदू और हिंदुत्व को गाली देना, हमको बोको हरम, ISI, तालिबान से जोड़ देना, जिस प्रकार से सनातन संस्कृति को अपमानित करने का काम करते हैं, तो ऐसे नेताओं के खिलाफ कांग्रेस के वरिष्ठ नेता को जल्द से जल्द कार्रवाई करनी चाहिए।
The statement of the working president of Karnataka, Mr. Satish, is highly deplorable and condemnable, but I think during its long stay of his so-called Bharat Jodo Yatra, Mr. Rahul Gandhi might have given him these tips that in order to vote जोड़ने के लिए, just to collect your votes, howsoever low you can stoop to demean and indignified the Hindu identity and the Hindu.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Tuhin Sinha, spokesperson of the BJP, joins us along with Acharya Vikramaditya, spiritual guru, a political analyst Ravi Srivastav. My first question, though, is to Anirban Banerjee, political analyst. We'll also be joined by leader of the Congress, Pramod Krishnam, in just a bit. Anirban Banerjee, how do you explain the very intense research of Mr. Jarkiholi, who has declared that Hindu is a dirty word? Why?
Well, what the research this Congress leader has done is not something that I can explain, but the word Hindu, that it has its roots or origins in the Persian language, is a historical fact. Now, as to where he found that the word is dirty, I'm not very sure. Maybe he could explain that better. But the point that some of the BJP leaders or sympathizers were trying to propose that this leader has insulted the religion Hinduism and they have always wanted to insult Hindutva, I must very categorically state that the religion or way of life or the philosophy called Hinduism is very, very different from the political ideology that is Hindutva. So therefore, at any drop of a hat,
let's leave that aside. I think we have split that hair far too many times. Here, very specifically, the gentleman was talking about Hindu. Let me quote for your benefit again what it is that he said. Where did the word Hindu come from? It is not from our language or this nation. This word came from Persia. Where is Persia? Iran, Iraq, Kazakhstan. Then how is it related to India in the first place? It is not your word or from your language. Why are you glorifying it? Why do you hold the word Hindu in such high esteem? It doesn't belong to you. If you look at its meaning, you will be ashamed. The meaning of the word Hindu is very dirty. I again come back to that. Why should anyone be ashamed of the word Hindu, and how is it dirty?
As I said, whether it's a dirty word in the Persian language or not, that is something only the leader can explain. But the root of the word Hindu lies in the Persian language. That is a historical fact. There's no denying that.
How?
And by our language,
how does it lie in the Persian language?
Referring to Kannada
Educate us. How does it take its root in the Persian language?
Because that is a that is a historical fact.
Let's learn it from you, sir. What historical fact?
It has been
I don't know about that historical fact. Maybe some of my viewers don't know. Please go ahead, sir. Go ahead. How does it have its roots in the Persian language? Go ahead, tell us.
Anybody willing to educate themselves need not look towards
Which is why I am willing to educate myself. I am looking to you.
Look up the history websites.
Which is why we have this great enlightening exercise where we get you and take this wisdom from you.
You can ask any historian.
I'm asking you. You know it's a historical fact, so tell us the historical fact.
I am not a historian, Padmaja.
But sir, you are obviously somebody who has read that history.
Books. I have read some history books.
Great, so tell us. We're all listening.
Yes, I have. The word Hindu, according to historians, comes from the word Sindhu. The Indus River, the Sindhu Nod, whatever you might call it, the word Hindu came from the names of these rivers. Sindhu, Indus River, the civilization, etc.
So
this is a long history.
The Indus River on which our civilization, the Indus Valley civilization, is it an Indian word or is that also a Persian word?
The word Sindhu, when it was spelled as Hindu by the Persian people, it was not a Kannada word. That is the first thing.
Which
it is not a Kannada word.
So first it was Sindhu, which was made into Indus. But who are these Persians who have come in the middle of Sindhu and Indus and Hindu?
No. When a language flows through people, it does not necessarily mean that those people from those lands have to come in.
Who are
language
these Persians?
flows. Language is like a flowing river.
That is great, just like the Sindhu.
There were people who had migrated. Migration, Padmaja, migration is a historical fact.
Just like
we all belong as a sapiens, Homo sapiens. We all come from Pangea.
Sir, you have so many historical facts, but can you take us back to the historical root of
the history of the word Hindu lies in the Persian language. That is a historical fact.
You want
to debate that, fine. That is also a point of debate. But you have to take it up with historians.
Sir, you can't just say ये historical fact and it becomes a fact. Quote me the source.
It's not a name. It's not a name of a single historian who has come up with this.
Many historians.
It's not a single historian that I can give a name of.
Okay, so you've read many historians, all of whom concur that Hindu is a Persian word. Name one.
No, if I say that, give me a name of a historian who said that there was a Roman Empire, will you give me one name?
I will actually. It's fairly easy. I'll just Google it right now and tell you. But since you are quoting it as fact, I'm just asking you, you've read many books.
Please Google this as well. Please Google this as well.
Okay. I will do that. And while I do that, pardon me, it was a little difficult to swallow, so much information that I had. So I choked a little bit on that. Opening thoughts. Did you know, Tuhin Sinha? Hindu is a Persian word. What is the Indian word for Hindu though?
Well,
I'll just come to that in a minute, but honestly, I will repeat what I have said before. The Congress is the present day Muslim League whose only hidden motive seems to be to vilify, to denigrate the Hindus and the Hindu community. So in just a span of 1 month, you just referred to Shivraj Patil's insult of, equating the Updesh of Krishna to Arjun in Mahabharata with jihad. But where does this come from? Where do they get this inspiration? They get their inspiration from Mallikarjun Kharge, number one, who had clearly said that, if you elect Modi ji again, you will only be causing the resurrection of the Sanatan Dharma. They get their inspiration from Rahul Gandhi, who in the guise of Bharat Jodo Yatra has been meeting Rajil Makuti, who butchered a calf in 2017. He has been meeting Father Punappa, who has been abusing Bharat Mata. Now coming to the other part, see very clearly the term Hindu comes from reverse Hindu,
that we don't approve of what Mr. Jarkioli has said.
Which is
Mr. Surjewala has distanced himself.
No, allow me to complete, which is a Sanskrit word. No, the Congress has a lot to answer today because they have actually scored a self-goal. If they are so enamored of the Persians who used the word Hindus to, for referral purposes to describe certain people living south of River Sindhu, by that logic, is the Congress today accepting that unlike what some of the leaders have previously said, the word Hindu is not a 100-year-old word but a 1500-year-old word. But in any case, Sanatan Dharma, which has always existed, has existed for thousands and thousands of years. And again, if the Congress is so enamored of the Persians, if the Persians used a certain geographical, geographical area, people living in a certain geographical area to describe them in Hindus, is the Congress also accepting today that everybody living in this land is Hindu, and the Congress has a lot to answer today.
Okay, we'll take this one by one before I let Acharya Pramod Krishnam come in on the political angle. And let me at this point also say that you are focusing on Shivraj Patil and Mr. Jarkioli and perhaps Udit Raj. But today Mr. Surjewala has said Hinduism is a way of life and a civilizational reality. Congress built our nation to respect every religion, belief and faith. This is the essence of India. The statement attributed to Satish Jarkioli is deeply unfortunate and deserves to be rejected. We condemn it unequivocally. I will take your reaction on that, but let me ask Acharya Vikramaditya. I did not get the source of the historical fact that Hindu is a Persian word. Can you please enlighten all of us, Acharya Vikramaditya? Where exactly in Persia did this word Hindu spring from?
जी, अगर कांग्रेस के लोगों ने, मैं कह रहा हूं, बाल गंगाधर तिलक की पहली किताब हिंदुत्व पढ़ ली होती तो शायद उसके अंदर एक श्लोक उन्होंने लिखा है, उस श्लोक से उनको पता चल जाता कि हिंदू शब्द कहां से लिखा है। वेद पुराण इत्यादि में हिंदू शब्द का आलेख कई जगह मिलता है, और जिस प्रकार से अगर उन्होंने सबसे पहले वर्ड को उन्होंने लिखा है, उन्होंने यहां तक लिखा है कि कुछ लोगों ने इसको मिस इंटरप्रेट करके हिंद और सिंध के साथ जोड़ने का प्रयास जो किया है वो एक अलग से वक्तव्य है। लेकिन मुझे जो आज जो पढ़ने को मिला, वो सुनने को मिला, वो वही है जो मैक्स मुलर की हिस्ट्री हिंदुस्तान के लिए क्रिएट की गई थी और आगे नेहरू जी ने उसको आगे बढ़ाने का प्रयास किया। नेहरू जी जैसे हिस्टोरियन जो थे, अपने आप को कहते थे, और जिन्होंने कहा कि मैं एक्सीडेंटल हिंदू हूं। मुझे बताइए, हिंदुओं की उपेक्षा आज से नहीं हो रही, लगातार उपेक्षा की जा रही है। कभी तो हिंदू आतंकी हो जाता है, कभी हिंदू जहादी हो जाता है, कभी हिंदू बेसिकली स्त्रियों को परेशान करने वाला हो जाता है, कभी कोई आजकल पॉलिटिकल सिनेरियो ऐसे हो गए हैं, कोई कहता है कि मंदिरों में मत जाओ, वहां लड़कियां छेड़ी जाएंगी। ये भी ऐसे भी लोग हैं हिंदू के अंदर। और तो और कहा गया हिंदू जिस प्रकार से आतंकी बना दिया गया है, कोई हिंदुओं को काफिर कह रहा है। क्या हिंदुओं को जीने का अधिकार नहीं? हमारे देश में रह रहे हैं, हमारे देश में खा रहे हैं, हिंदुओं के सब वर्चस्व को कह रहे हैं, और इस देश के अंदर किस प्रकार का डिफरेंशिएट क्रिएट करने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है। द्रविड़ और आर्यन की फिलॉसफी किस प्रकार से लाएगी, किस कारण से लाएगी, हिस्ट्री के अंदर एक फैक्ट है। तो मैक्स मुलर ने इस देश को डिवाइड एंड रूल कर, जो बेसिकली जो आर्यन एंड द्रविडियन थ्योरी क्रिएट की गई थी, वो इसी का प्रमाण है। और उसके बाद कांग्रेस के लोगों ने उसको प्रोवोक किया, उसको बढ़ाया, आगे बढ़ाया उसको। और जो हिंदुस्तान के अंदर जिनको हिंदू कहने में शर्म आती है, हिंदू अपने आप को हिंदू कहने में शर्म आती है। वो हमारे पहले प्रधानमंत्री हुए जो कहते थे कि मैं एक्सीडेंटल हिंदू हो गया हूं, तो उन्हीं की क्लास में पड़े हुए लोग हैं जो आज हिंदुत्व को, इनको पता चल चुका है कि हिंदू इनको वोट देंगे नहीं। और ये केवल जो बेसिकली है, ये केवल मुस्लिम तुष्टीकरण के लिए आज खेल हो रहा है।
पर आप कह रहे हैं हिंदू वोट नहीं देंगे। आचार्य प्रमोद कृष्णन तो खुद कांग्रेस का हिस्सा है, वो हिंदू है, आचार्य है, कांग्रेस का हिस्सा है वो। आचार्य जी रिस्पॉन्ड कीजिए कि दिस इज कैजुअल डिसरिगार्ड बिकॉज़ यू डू नॉट,
वो क्या कर रहे हैं मुझे पता है किस प्रकार से कह रहे हैं,
बिकॉज़ यू डू नॉट केयर फॉर देम।
मैं बोलूं पद्मजा?
हाँ बोलिए आचार्य जी।
देखिए, पहली बात, कांग्रेस पार्टी के कर्नाटक के वर्किंग प्रेसिडेंट ने जो बात कही है, मैं उससे सहमत नहीं हूं। मैं पूरी तौर से उसको कंडेम करता हूं, उसकी निंदा करता हूं, उसकी भर्त्सना करता हूं और साफ साफ निंदा करता हूं, लेकिन परंतु किंतु इधर उधर घुमा के नहीं कहना चाहता। मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि कर्नाटक के कांग्रेस के कार्यकारी अध्यक्ष ने जो बात कही है वो 120 करोड़ हिंदुओं की भावनाओं को ठेस पहुंचाने वाली है। उनको माफ़ी मांगनी चाहिए और कांग्रेस लीडरशिप को ऐसे नेताओं के बयानों पर लगाम लगानी चाहिए। एक बात तो साफ हो गई। दूसरी बात यह है कि मैं इस विषय में नहीं जाना चाहता हिंदू शब्द कहाँ से आया। अभी जो हिस्टोरियन थे या जो भी आपके पॉलिटिकल एनालिसिस थे, अरे आप चुप रहिए भाई, आप चुप रहिए प्लीज। मैं पद्मजा, मैं डिबेट छोड़ दूंगा।
पहले बोलिए ना यहाँ पर कितनी बार।
मैं आई एम गोइंग, आई एम लिविंग।
आचार्य प्रमोद कृष्णन, एक सेकंड, आप सवाल का जवाब देके जाइए ना।
Please don't disturb me. Please don't disturb me.
Okay,
please don't disturb me.
But he's asking a relevant question.
Please don't disturb me. Please don't disturb me.
But he is asking a relevant question.
अगर आप मुझे डिस्टर्ब कराओगे, मैं आप सवाल कोई भी करें, प्लीज पद्मजा, पद्मजा प्लीज मेरी बात सुनिए, 10 सेकंड दीजिए।
हाँ, my question
आप मुझसे लिसन
30 सेकंड बोलिए।
आप नहीं, आप मुझे एक मिनट, आप मुझसे कोई भी सवाल करें, मैं उसका जवाब दूंगा, कितना ही तीखा हो, बट जब मैं बोल रहा हूं तो उसके बीच में कोई इंटरप्ट ना करे। मैं डिस्कस करने को तैयार हूं।
चलिए ठीक है, बोलिए, फिनिश योर पॉइंट।
बस इतनी रिक्वेस्ट है मेरी। अब आप सवाल पूछिए।
सवाल आपसे यह है कि हर बार जब ये होता है, उदित राज क्या बोलते हैं, आई विल कोट टू यू। उदित राज ने बोला, आरएसएस मोदी जी को पूरा समय हिंदू धर्म की कुरीतियों को खत्म करने में लगाए ताकि धर्मांतरण रुके और पीएम किसी और को बनाए। शिवराज पाटिल कहते हैं दैट Arjun was taught jihad. It's not just jihad is not just mentioned in the Quran. Shri Krishna also taught jihad to Arjun in the Bhagavad Gita. All of these people have said these things and they have got away with it. You come out with one condemnation, but then what happens? वो लोग सेम लोग वापस आएंगे, वही चीज बोलेंगे, वापस आएंगे, सेम चीज बोलेंगे। अभी आचार्य विक्रमादित्य जस्ट मेंशन्ड कि राहुल गांधी जी जब केरला में थे, he met that youth congressman who was accused of slaughtering a calf mid street. Why? This is casual disregard. आचार्य प्रमोद कृष्ण, एक्शन क्यों नहीं लेते?
ओके हाँ ओके पद्मजा, पहली बात तो मैंने क्लियर कर दी कि मैं मिस्टर सतीश के बयान से सहमत नहीं और कंडेम करता हूं। दूसरी बात, जो कॉन्सेप्ट ये है कि वो सिंधु को हिंदू कहा जा रहा, मैं उसके भी खिलाफ हूं। फिर सऊदी अरब को हौदी अरब क्यों नहीं कहा जाता, फिर सनातन को हनातन क्यों नहीं कहा जाता? जो विद्वान बोल रहे थे, मैं उनसे सवाल कर रहा हूं कि सनातन को हनातन क्यों नहीं कहा जाता, सऊदी को हौदी क्यों नहीं कहा जाता? ओके, लिसन, अगर मिस्टर बनर्जी ये कहना चाहते हैं कि वो सिंधु को हिंदू कहते हैं, तो फिर सऊदी को हौदी क्यों नहीं कहते, सनातन को हनातन क्यों नहीं कहते, सन जो सूर्य है उसको हन क्यों नहीं कहते? ये वाहियात बातें हैं, मैं इससे सहमत नहीं हूं। तीसरा पॉइंट आया पॉलिटिक्स का। कांग्रेस पार्टी के अंदर हमारी कांग्रेस पार्टी के अंदर ऐसे बड़े विद्वान लोग हैं जिनकी वजह से कांग्रेस बर्बाद हो रही है। बीजेपी चाहती है कि कांग्रेस हिंदू विरोधी सिद्ध हो जाए। जो काम बीजेपी चाहती है वही कांग्रेस के कुछ लोग चल रहे हैं। वास्तव में कांग्रेस में कुछ ऐसे नेता शामिल हो गए जिन्हें हिंदू नाम से नफरत है, जिन्हें हिंदुओं से चिढ़ है। मैं सहमत हूं इस बात पे, लेकिन इस बात को राहुल गांधी से और प्रियंका गांधी से जोड़ना या फलाने से जोड़ना, कांग्रेस से जोड़ना, ये इससे मैं सहमत नहीं हूं। कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं, इन बयानों से राहुल गांधी की जो पदयात्रा है उसमें पलीता लगा रहे हैं ये लोग।
तो
राहुल गांधी की जो तपस्या उसको खत्म कर रहे हैं।
मैं आपसे फिर आपको रोक करके यही पूछूंगी, तब तो ये फिर लीडरशिप के ऊपर सवाल है ना। जो आदमी आप खुद मान रहे हैं, देयर आर सम पीपल हु आर हिंदू हेटर्स हु हैव जॉइन्ड द कांग्रेस, उनको कार्यकारी अध्यक्ष बना दिया। ये ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई बूथ का कार्यकर्ता है या कोई राह चलता आदमी है, ये कार्यकारी अध्यक्ष हैं केपीसीसी के। और अभी अभी आपकी पूरी यात्रा कर्नाटका से होकर के आई है, कर्नाटका में इलेक्शन होने वाले हैं और आपके कार्यकारी अध्यक्ष बोल रहे हैं दैट हिंदू इज अ डर्टी वर्ड, यू शुड बी अशेम्ड ऑफ इट, यू विल बी एम्बैरेस्ड बाय इट, इट हैज कम फ्रॉम सम अदर एलियन लैंड्स, देन तो इट रिफ्लेक्ट्स वेरी बैडली ऑन द लीडरशिप।
एब्सोल्यूट पद्मजा, आई एग्री विद यू कि हिंदू होना गर्व की बात है, हिंदू होना गौरव की बात है, हिंदू होना सम्मान की बात है, हिंदू होना स्वाभिमान की बात है।
तो फिर
ये जिस तरह इस तरह का वाहियात बयान दिया,
तो हटा दीजिए,
मैं उन
ये तो
120 करोड़ हिंदुओं में शामिल हूं। 100 नहीं, मैं तो आपके चैनल से, आपका नेशनल चैनल है, मैं मांग करता हूं कांग्रेस लीडरशिप से कि या तो मिस्टर सतीश माफी मांगे 120 करोड़ हिंदुओं से, क्योंकि उन्होंने उनकी भावनाओं को ठेस पहुंचाई है, वरना उनको बर्खास्त कर देना चाहिए। मैं मांग तो कर रहा हूं। अब आचार्य प्रमोद कृष्णम अगर जो बात कह रहे हैं वो आपको अच्छी नहीं लगेगी, जो सतीश ने कहा है वो अच्छी लगेगी, क्योंकि जो मिस्टर सतीश बोल रहे हैं, जो कार्यकारी अध्यक्ष बोल रहे हैं, उससे हिंदू विरोधी ठप्पा लगता है कांग्रेस में।
आपकी बात बहुत अच्छी लग रही है, पर सच बात यह है कि आपकी मांग को कोई सुनेगा नहीं। सबसे बड़ी यहाँ विडंबना यह है कि आपकी बात को कोई सुनेगा नहीं। आप खुद कह रहे हैं that these are Hindu haters, these are people who are filled with embarrassment of being Hindu, but आपकी लीडरशिप ने उनको प्रेसिडेंट बना दिया है। तुहिन सिन्हा रिस्पॉन्ड, आचार्य जी कह रहे हैं ठीक है, दिस मैन इज यूजलेस, दिस मैन should be condemned, but don't say this that this is a reflection on Rahul Gandhi.
पद्मजा,
you are just doing politics.
नहीं, देखिए पद्मजा, एक पैटर्न रहा है कांग्रेस के व्यवहार में पिछले कुछ सालों में। अगर आप शशि थरूर जैसे पढ़े लिखे व्यक्ति अगर इतनी कैजुअली वो शब्द का प्रयोग करते हैं हिंदू पाकिस्तान, तो कहीं ना कहीं ये जो डीप रूटेड एक एनिमोसिटी है, अगर आपको वोट नहीं मिल रहा है हिंदू समुदाय से, लेकिन जब वोट मिलता था तब भी आप परवाह नहीं करते थे, तो ये एक पैटर्न है जो चला आ रहा है। और द कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट और द कांग्रेस और सर, or unless the Congress president, who by the way himself was talking about the threat of revival of Sanatan Dharma if Modi ji gets re-elected, how can these people take a stand if there is some form of complicity, which is very evident? How many people called out the ridiculous statements of Shivraj Patil?
आचार्य जी,
पद्मजा आपका जो शो है बिल्कुल एक हिस्ट्री लिखेगा। मैंने आपके शो पे अपनी पार्टी के नेता को कंडेम किया, मैंने अपनी गलती मानी, मैंने अपनी दिल की बात कही, मैंने सत्य सनातन धर्म के पक्ष में बात की है। लेकिन क्या तुहिन सिन्हा आपके शो पे ये कहेंगे? इनकी पार्टी का एक नेता है संजय निषाद, जो इनके अलायंस में थे, उन्होंने कहा कि भगवान राम दशरथ के पुत्र नहीं थे, मां कौशल्या की सतीत्व पे क्वेश्चन उठाया। क्या इन्होंने उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई की, उससे गठबंधन तोड़ा? दूसरा, इनकी हम एक पार्टी के नेता है नरेश अग्रवाल कांग्रेस में थे, फिर समाजवादी में आए, फिर बीजेपी के साथ सांसद हुए और पार्लियामेंट में बोला कि ब्रह्मा में विस्की में ब्रह्मा बसें, रम में रमते राम, और बियर में विष्णु बसें, ठर्रा में हनुमान। क्या उनको निकालेंगे?
पहले व्यक्ति के बारे में आपने बोला,
क्या उनको निकालेंगे?
देखिए, जिस पहले जो पहले व्यक्ति के बारे में आपने बोला, अगर वो कोई अनपढ़ गवार हैं जिनको पता नहीं है कि राम किनके पुत्र थे, तो ये तो उनकी मानसिक दशा को दर्शाता है ना, और इसलिए वो राजनीति में हमारा साथ छोड़ना पड़ा उनको। दूसरा, जो आप नरेश अग्रवाल के बारे में कह रहे हैं, तो नरेश अग्रवाल ने जब ये बात कही थी तो भाजपा में थे ही नहीं दूर तक। तो ये जो है छोटी
ये बहुत अच्छी बात है कि वो भाजपा में नहीं थे, लेकिन उन्होंने भगवान राम के बारे में
मैं बात कर रहा हूं शशि थरूर का। क्या शशि थरूर मैं बड़े नेताओं की बात कर रहा हूं जो कांग्रेस के डिस्कोर्स को सेट करते हैं। शशि थरूर जो कि प्रेसिडेंट का इलेक्शन लड़ रहे थे, मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे जो कि आज प्रेसिडेंट है, और राहुल गांधी, ये तीन आपके शीर्ष नेता हैं या नहीं? या आपने कांग्रेस छोड़ दी? अगर आपने कांग्रेस छोड़ दी है तो बात अलग है, मैं आपकी बात से मान रहा हूं।
आचार्य प्रमोद कृष्ण,
मैंने कांग्रेस नहीं छोड़ी है, मैं कांग्रेस के साथ हूं। कांग्रेस पार्टी एक ऐसी पार्टी है जिसमें अभिव्यक्ति की आजादी है। अगर कांग्रेस का कोई नेता इस तरह की गलत बात करता है तो वो तो आप पकड़ लेते हो, वो कांग्रेस का अधिकृत बयान मान लेते हो। आचार्य प्रमोद कृष्णम जो कह रहे हैं उसको आप कांग्रेस का बयान नहीं मानेंगे, लेकिन आप अपनी पार्टी के नेताओं को डिफेंड कर रहे हैं। नरेश अग्रवाल जी ने संसद में बोला कि रम में बसते राम,
आचार्य जी, मैंने
जिनमें माता जानकी, थर्रा में हनुमान
की बात
तो अगर वो आपकी पार्टी में आने से पहले उनको आपने पार्टी में लिया क्यों?
Okay, let me get in just a second. Let me get
आज
in.
भी उनका कोई वजूद नहीं है, कहां है किसी को नहीं पता.
Okay, please let me get in Ravi Srivastava as well. Ravi Srivastava, this is unfortunately not just about the Congress party. Recently we had one ex-minister, also one person who was then removed from his post, also making the similar comment. उसके बाद जाकर के उन्होंने एक और इंटरव्यू दे दिया जिसमें उन्होंने कहा कि भाई हिंदू जो है माइनॉरिटी में हो जाएंगे. We've seen this happen in the DMK. We've seen this happen in the VCK. Why? Because you know that this is a community which is going to take it on the chin. Maximum some of them will go to the court and then they will keep venting on social media or on television debates like this. Is that the reason why?
No. For that is the 5 courts, the Congress leaders. Asking you, these leaders, what whether Naresh Agarwal, whether Banshidhar Bhagat, whether even Aditya Nath asking the past of the Lord, never put up their courts over there. Why this is all one-sided? Is it a biased debate or what? And now you are asking about Rajendra Pal Gautam. He never said anything wrong. He took the pledge before 10,000 people and which was both Dharma pledge.
Sir, I am talking about an interview that he gave day before yesterday when he said that Hindus are not going to be in the majority for very long. Soon they will become minority.
Which you will not show. You will show only 4 just to malign the party. This is your objective. This is your agenda.
Sir, is this about your analysis of me or is this about your analysis of what is being said and why?
Nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong? Nothing wrong saying that Hindu is a dirty word?
Yes, BJP is not a custodian of Hindu religion.
Nobody is saying BJP. This is not about the BJP, sir.
They are contractor war.
BJP, leave the BJP aside. BJP is not the custodian. People who are Hindus are custodian of Hinduism.
They claim so. Anybody else talks about Hindu.
But this is not about the BJP's claims, Mr. Srivastava. This is about the simple. This is about the.
हमने गलत कह दिया. अगर कंस और कृष्ण की बात करते हैं तो हमने गलत कह दिया. अरविंद केजरीवाल ने दिवाली पूजन कर दिया तो उसको कैसे उसने कर दिया जा करके? अरे मोदी जी करे भगवान राम बन जाए.
अरे बिल्कुल कीजिए आप दिवाली क्यों आप रोज पूजन कीजिए. आपको किसने रोका है?
हम करे तो करेक्टर ढीला.
अरे आप ऐसे अननेसेसरी एंग्स्ट क्यों कर रहे हैं? किसने बोला कि आप पूजा मत कीजिए? आप रोज पूजा कीजिए भाई.
Something biased. I am not. Rajendra Pal Gautam has not done anything wrong. He left the ministership on his own.
Okay, he left the ministership on his own. Is there anything wrong with him saying that Hindus will be reduced to a minority? No.
Should be. He never did.
Okay, there is no problem in that also.
For that, but is it
very clearly,
when the
very clearly,
were there,
very clearly with the statement that you are referring to of Rajendra Gautam, that refers to a demographic war which ideally should be the language of Zakir Naiks. But if Aam Aadmi Party is supporting that language, you can see the malified agenda they follow.
What?
And I'm very unfortunate that Mr. Srivastava is supporting that malified agenda.
You know Hinduism better than you.
Have you heard the statement of what Padmaja is saying? Have you heard the recent statement of Mr. Gautam made 2 days ago? क्या आप भी सहमत हैं? क्या आप भी इस बात से सहमत हैं कि हिंदू माइनॉरिटी में होने वाले हैं? और क्या आप भी इस चीज को सपोर्ट करते हैं रवि जी? आप भी कहीं कन्वर्शन रैकेट चला रहे हैं क्या?
मैं आपके धन बात कर रहा हूं मैं, जो आप जिसका कि आप कस्टोडियन बने फिरते हैं. अब हिंदुओं की करेंगे बस. अरे हिंदू अब भी करेंगे.
So basically अगर कोई भी सवाल पूछे वो कस्टोडियन है. आचार्य विक्रमादित्य, आचार्य जी ये बताइए that basically the objection that Ravi Srivastava has कि एक stray comment को उठा करके you extrapolate it making it seem as if आपके अलावा सभी हिंदू विरोधी हैं. 4-5 लोगों ने बोल दिया व्हाट्स द बिग डील. आचार्य विक्रमादित्य
जो कमेंट दिया है उन्होंने ये बेसिकली इनका सीधा पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा है कि जस्ट टू ह्यूमिलेट हिंदूज एंड बेसिकली डोंट हैव अ गट्स. इवन दे कांट से इवन अ सिंगल वर्ड अगेंस्ट द इस्लाम बिकॉज दे नो व्हाट विल हैपन विद देम. ये लगातार इस प्रकार से उपेक्षा कर रहे हैं। इस देश के अंदर यही हुआ है, लगातार हुआ है। वहां गुजरात के अंदर इनका एक प्रेसिडेंट है, किस प्रकार से क्या क्या बोल रहा है हिंदुओं के खिलाफ कि मंदिर मत जाओ, कि आपके वहां पर शोषण होता है, और यहाँ बैठकर नफरत है, भाई छोड़ दे हिंदू, चला जाए हिंदू छोड़कर। यहाँ बैठकर अपना नाम रवि रखा हुआ है, अपना नाम हटा के कुछ और रख ले, सलाम रख ले, इस्लाम रख ले। क्यों रखा है नाम बैठ के बैठा है यहाँ पर? अपने बाप दादा का नाम लेकर श्रीवास्तव लगा रखा है, क्यों बैठा हुआ भाई? सब छोड़ना। यहाँ बैठकर अपनी यहाँ बदतमीजी करने के लिए बैठा हुआ है यहाँ पर। किसने बैठा है यहाँ पर ये? अरे हिंदुओं को कोई कस्टोडियन की जरूरत नहीं है, हिंदू अपने कस्टोडियन अपने आप है। We need not to have people like you. We know who people, what agenda you people have.
Mr. Srivastava, and this is not about the BJP making itself a custodian. Acharya Vikramaditya is not from the BJP. Anyone who is not even a particularly religious person would feel that it is not okay to take pot shots. It is not okay to take pot shots at anyone. But if one community is saying, leave us alone, we do not need your advice and your analysis and your thoughts and your musings about what happens in the Manusmriti, etc. Nobody needs your wisdom, sir. Keep it to yourself. There are people running around in Tamil Nadu distributing copies of Manusmriti as if everyone wakes up in the morning and turns pages of the Manusmriti to take gyan on how to live their life. There are other people who are remarking on how, you know, the origin of the word is from Persia and you should be embarrassed. Nobody wants to be embarrassed. The whole idea of the religion is that you make it what you want to make it, without having other people give unnecessary advice and wisdom on what they think Hinduism is. Your response, Anirban Banerjee, and it's not the BJP who is, you know, contradicting your historical fact. It's actually Acharya Pramod Krishnam. Your response.
Fine. In that case, Acharya ji should also question the previous Congress governments during whose regime the history syllabus was set, and that is exactly what my generation at least had read in the history books. Therefore, if he is questioning his own party's previous governments, I do not know what exactly he is doing right now in the Congress. He is speaking the same language as what the BJP does, questions Nehru, Indira ji on everything, and that is what Mr. Krishnan is doing as well. So that is the fact that I mentioned, that is a historical school of thought that has been reflected in the school books that I have read, many have read across India. And if somebody has an objection, fine, no problems with that. History is something
from an
that
historical fact, it has now expanded into a school of
for
thought.
The political
Very
angle,
quickly, Acharya ji, would you want to respond? Acharya Pramod Krishnam.
The question should be posted to the previous Congress governments.
Okay, Acharya Pramod Krishnam.
नहीं पद्मजा, पहली बात तो देखो, मैं एक बात मानता हूं कि ये जो अभी रवि श्रीवास्तव में और आचार्य विक्रमादित्य में जो बहस हुई है, आचार्य विक्रमादित्य को उनके विचारों को कंडेम करने का पूरा अधिकार है, लेकिन उन्होंने ये कह दिया भाई श्रीवास्तव क्यों लगा रखा है, आप हिंदू नहीं है। रवि श्रीवास्तव अगर किसी विषय पे अपनी राय अलग रखते हैं तो उन्हें ये तो कहने का अधिकार किसी को नहीं है कि वो हिंदू नहीं है। पहली बात, यही प्रॉब्लम है। अब मिस्टर बनर्जी मेरी बात से सहमत हो या ना हो, मैंने अपनी बात कही, उन्होंने अपनी बात कही। उन्होंने कहा कि साहब वो सिंधु हिंदू, मैंने कहा भाई सऊदी को हऊदी क्यों नहीं कहते हैं। मैं एक बात साफ कर देना चाहता हूं कि इस देश के अंदर जो सनातन धर्म है हमारा, हिंदू धर्म है, हिंदू मानसिकता जो है वो दया, करुणा, क्षमा, प्रेम, सद्भावना सिखाती है। लेकिन अब हिंदू धर्म पर अपना कब्जा बीजेपी जमाना चाहती है। बीजेपी चाहती है कि सारी विपक्ष की पार्टियां हिंदू विरोधी सिद्ध हो जाएं, ताकि इनकी महंगाई पर, इनकी बेरोजगारी पर, इनके करप्शन पर, इनके निकम्मेपन पे कोई सवाल ना उठे। और जो ये बीजेपी चाहती हैं, विपक्ष के कुछ ऐसे नेता हैं, महामूर्धन्य नेता हैं, जिन्हें मैं ये कहूंगा बड़े विद्वान नेता हैं, ये सब वही काम कर रहे हैं जो बीजेपी चाहती है। अगर विपक्ष ने हिंदू विरोधी होने का ठप्पा नहीं हटाया तो 2024 नहीं, अगले 40 सालों तक भी बीजेपी को सत्ता से बाहर नहीं कर सकते।
तो दैट इज द केस। तो आचार्य जी, भारत जोड़ो यात्रा से ज्यादा आपकी पार्टी को ऐसे नेता छोड़ो यात्रा करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर ध्यान भटकाने का ही एफर्ट कर रही है बीजेपी, तो आपके नेता उस एफर्ट को बहुत ही ज्यादा मदद भी कर रहे हैं। आई एम गोइंग टू लीव इट एट दैट, बट देयर इज न्यूज जस्ट कमिंग इन फैक्ट देयर हैज बीन अनदर वीडियो, इवन दो रवि श्रीवास्तव वाज पुटिंग अप अ वेरी stiff defense of the Aam Aadmi Party, it seems that this is going to be a very strong and recurrent theme in the elections where the Aam Aadmi Party is in the fray along with the BJP, that of Hindu herd. This is the latest video that has been released by the Bharatiya Janata Party talking about recent comments that have been made by their leaders against Hindus. Listen in.
राम और कृष्ण को ईश्वर नहीं मानूंगा और ना ही उनकी कभी पूजा करूंगा मैं गौरी गणपति आदि हिंदू धर्म के किसी भी देवी देवताओं को नहीं मानूंगा और ना ही उनकी पूजा करूंगा।
And speaking of elections, another recurrent theme is that of the UCC. It was introduced ahead of the Uttarakhand elections where the Chief Minister said we are going to implement it in Uttarakhand. Now, in Himachal and in Gujarat, the BJP insists that a uniform law will help unite society and help in overall development of all sections of society. However, this vision finds no takers among the skeptical and dismissive opposition leaders who say that UCC fires are lit only before elections and immediately put on the back burner once the political mileage has been drawn.
आपके यूसीसी मैनिफेस्टो में होगा भारतीय जनता पार्टी के इसमें?
बिल्कुल होगा। जो हमने कैबिनेट में निर्णय किया है तो जरूर हम मैनिफेस्टो में भी लेंगे।
हिमाचल प्रदेश में टेनेंसी एक्ट है सेक्शन 118 क्या अमित शाह साहब हिमाचल प्रदेश में जाकर जमीन खरीद सकते हैं? वो खुद खरीद कर बता दें एग्रीकल्चर लैंड हमको। तो ये सब चुनाव से पहले अपनी कमजोरियों को, नाकामी को छुपाने का एक तरीका है। और भारत के संविधान में राइट टू कल्चर जो है आर्टिकल 29 एक फंडामेंटल राइट है और मुझे उस कल्चर का प्रोटेक्शन का पूरा इख्तियार है।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
So Inzana continues with us, spokesperson of the BJP. We are joined by Tushar Gupta, senior editor at Swaraj, Tausifur Rahman, political analyst, Syed Aslam Pasha, spokesperson of JDS, and Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst. So Inzana, this question that really leaps out is that it was promised in Uttarakhand. Now the elections are over, you have won. Why hasn't UCC been brought in yet before announcing it in Gujarat and in Himachal?
You know, Padmaja, there is no good time to do a good thing. Article 44 of the Constitution clearly mandates that the state should endeavor to bring UCC and to ensure equal rights to every citizen of the country. So ideally, it should have been brought way back in 1954 when the Supreme Court had first reprimanded the then Prime Minister at the time when the Hindu Marriage Act was being passed. After that, in 1985, the Supreme Court again reprimanded the government of the day, and in fact, the Shah Bano case should have been an embarrassment for the then government. They should ideally have moved the discussion on UCC then. So at least now it's better late than never. We have always been questioned on our timing, and the last official response given by the Law Minister Kiran Rijiju makes it very clear that it is under the purview of the 22nd Law Commission because there are local complexities which need to be discussed, which need to be thrashed out, and hence we are taking it in a calibrated manner. But in the time to come, once we have made up our mind, I think this is as strong an ideological commitment for us as our removal of Article 370 was, as the construction of Ram Mandir was, and in due course of time, UCC will become a reality. The naysayers can keep questioning the timing and Tariq ka pata hogi.
Okay, Tausifur Rahman, just like Tariq nahi batayenge, Ram Mandir banayenge was meant to be, you know, a jibe at the BJP, turned out to be quite prophetic. Tuhin Sinha says the same holds for the UCC.
Well, Padmaja, good evening. Padmaja, you have to understand the BJP is just becoming like the announced Karte Jao party. Nothing has been done, the election has been won, the ruling government is there, and once again, whenever the election comes, it's just like, you know, there's a fight in the border, and same like there's some UCC, civil code is going to come, but nothing is happening at this moment. So only announce करते जाओ, ribbon काटते जाओ, मौके पे मौका और चौका बढ़ते जाओ, होने वाला कुछ नहीं है. You tell me the benefits of UCC and when it will happen And what will happen once the UCC is launched? What happened in Srinagar and Kashmir? The UCC is there, I guess, or it's not there. Can you buy the property still over there? You can't. What is happening? The one place in Goa people are eating beef. It's the same place BJP government Uttar Pradesh, you can't eat beef. You can't wear stuff there, you can't wear stuff here. So what is this UCC is all about? It is a big facade.
So UCC, I think you're getting into too many things. I am pretty sure you know that this has got nothing to do with the UCC.
As a layman.
UCC, as a layman only, but our basic understanding is very clear that UCC has to do with having a uniform civil code. Name me other countries where you have got minority communities practicing personal laws and not adhering to the common law of the country. Can you name me other examples? Just like you have personal law in India, are there other countries where personal laws are practiced by minorities?
So this UCC, so this UCC is only for the Islamic people?
No, I'm asking you. You're saying that this is about minorities, right?
Development for the country.
This is about minorities, right? That they deserve to have their personal law.
I'm not talking only about the minorities. I'm talking about the Goa. I'm talking about Uttarakhand. I'm talking about Gujarat.
I'm asking you
I'm talking about Uttar Pradesh. I'm talking about West Bengal as well.
I'm asking you a very specific question. Name me any other country. Name me any other country where personal laws are practiced.
Any progressive.
Are there any other countries where personal law is practiced?
No, UCC. Okay, fine. We want UCC when it will start. You tell me. Give me the benefits.
Okay, you are.
Give me the benefits.
The benefits
of UCC. Tehsin Poonawala is there. I'm sure he's ready with all the benefits. But that's a rubbish. It's not going to happen.
No.
It's just becoming like a charade. It's a whole facade.
Why are you speaking on Tehsin's
and nothing will happen all of a sudden. Nothing will happen.
Tehsin is appalled on your behalf. But anyway, I think Tushar Gupta
I'm sure Tehsin Poonawala is ready there.
Okay, Tushar Gupta I think wants to quickly come in and then I'll go across to Tehsin. Yes. Tushar Gupta, what are the benefits and when is it coming? Or is it only going to be limited to election manifestos and debates?
Padmaja, one thing I don't understand is why the UCC is always linked to one minority community. Now, if you ask the question, which is the one minority in Gujarat, 99 out of 100 people will say Muslims. No one will mention Jains, which are a smaller minority than the Muslims. So UCC is also going to be applicable to them. Look, I agree with what Tuhin said. This is a very complex subject that requires groundwork. It requires engagement with the local communities. But Himachal and Gujarat are two states where the UCC should be carried out. It should be implemented because this will give us some very interesting results. And the opposition always makes UCC about Hindu majoritarian agenda. Now tell me, if all women, irrespective of their religion, have equal rights, not when it just comes to divorce, but also marriage, inheritance, succession, adoption, is that Hindu majoritarian? Are we going to sit here and pretend that everything that benefits women of all communities is Hindu majoritarian and therefore it's an election gimmick? The problem is, Padmaja, the people who today say that UCC will never happen are the same people who will sit on the roads the day UCC is implemented across the country, not just 2 states or 5 states or 10 states. That's the problem.
And since we spoke of women,
but the government is very clear, they'll go for it.
Since we spoke of women and uniform law, Tehsin Poonawala, as far back as the Shah Bano judgment, the Supreme Court actually said that the government should bring in a uniform civil code. In its Muhammad Ahmad Khan versus Shah Bano judgment of 1985, the Supreme Court has said that the government should decide whether to give prevalence to CRPC or Muslim personal law and called for the implementation of the UCC, and then it did the same in the Sarla Mudgal judgment as well as the Paulo Coutinho versus Maria Luisa Valentina Pereira case. So this is something that has been ongoing and the courts have said this is required in the country. Why not?
So Padmaja, good evening. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And this is a very, very complex debate, and I absolutely don't like anybody speaking on my behalf or attributing motives to me or my position for me. I can speak for myself. I'm very capable and independent. So I don't need people to speak for me. I, to an extent, agree with the start of what Tushar said, though I support not having a UCC, and I'll tell you why. My reason for not having a UCC has been articulated very well in the 21st Law Commission, which the Modi government implemented, and it spoke against in 2018, and it said why you shouldn't have a UCC. Following that, the Modi government then had a 22nd Law Commission, and they've still not appointed a chairperson. Now let's come to 2 or 3 issues that have been raised. Number one, the first issue that my friend from the BJP Tuhin raises, directive principles, is something we've also adhered to. Look, Article 39, for example, in the directive principles says equal distribution of wealth. We can do that also. Why is the BJP not doing that? Or Article 47 says absolute prohibition, no liquor. I am a teetotaler. For those who do not believe me, I'm a teetotaler. Why don't we do complete prohibition? So listen, a directive principle, you just want to do it selectively because they sort of want to make this a polarizing issue. And that's where I agree with Tushar. This isn't a Muslim issue. I agree with Tushar. There are lots of other minorities. On the contrary, Padmaja, you'll be surprised to know, polygamy, because these are six to beat the BJP, to beat the Muslims, let's not beat around the bush. Polygamy is less in amongst Muslims. You want to know the sex ratio of Muslims having women as opposed to Hindus? Just allow me to finish. I'm making a very complex argument. The Muslims are much higher in encouraging the woman child. So this is not about Muslims. So Tushar is right to the extent, if UCC comes, lots of people will be implicated in that or will have to come on board. Now, let me just give you one more example because we're talking about Gujarat specifically. In Gujarat, we have something called a Maitri Karar. It's called a contract friendship, wherein the Hindu male can have a contract with a woman and be in a relationship with her while being married. Did you know this? In Goa, where they say there is a UCC, a Hindu man can have a second wife officially without divorcing his first wife because the first wife has not produced a male child before the age of 30.
Which is why a call for reforming that law in Goa has been given, as it should be. No man should have that right. No man should have that right to Muslim anyone. It should be reformed.
Correct. So
now come to the main point of UCC in the country.
Correct.
Do you want it? Do you not want it?
No.
Yes or no? Why? That was my initial question.
Yeah, so I'll tell you why I don't want it and what's the thing. Because I completely agree with your point and Tushar's point. We have to safeguard women's rights. So let's look at Muslims because we're talking about Muslims. So for example, Muslim marriage.
So this is not just about women's rights. It's a part of it. I'll tell you a very basic premise. Basic premise is one country, one law. One country, one law. Let's not go down into specifics and say it's only about women. No. One country, one law. Why not?
So,
just like it happens worldwide.
I'm explaining exactly that to you. Because the 21st Law Commission said, forget A religion or B religion. There are lots of tribal identities and tribal customs that may come under challenge. So, for example, which is the one law that you will implement? So let me now use a Muslim example because it is an example being spoken about. So let's use it. So, for example, in the Muslim Personal Law Board, the marriage is actually a contract. So that's extremely forward. It's not sacramental, say, for example, in Hindus. So that's a forward thing, you can see that. However, the succession in Muslims needs to be looked at because the Muslim girl gets only 1/3, unlike Hindus where you get 50-50. So you can reform that aspect. So what my suggestion is, where you see the women are actually behind, where they don't have the same rights as other religions, you bring about uniformity in that without taking away their actual customs. So there are certain tribal customs that need to stay.
What is the benefit of UCC? You're saying you bring in little clauses, but let the personal law remain. Why?
Because for example, there are certain tribal. I'll come to that. There are, for example, certain tribal customs that have been guaranteed under fundamental rights, not under directive principles. Now, whose tribal rights will you take away to form a uniform code?
Tushar, respond to that. Okay, so this is not about Muslims, this is about tribal identities and rights.
No, it's about everybody, including tribals, including others.
Okay,
so whose rights are you taking away and whose are you getting?
Go on.
One last point.
Tushar Gupta, let Tushar Gupta respond. 30 seconds, yes.
Take 5 seconds.
See, the Padmaja.
30 seconds, Tushar Gupta, yes.
See, Padmaja, the excuse that comes in the way of UCC is that India is a diverse country in multiple ways, so not all laws can be codified into one. The argument you are making. The other argument that is given to support this argument is give the communities their time, they'll reform with time. Independence was 75 years ago. A lot of communities have not reformed. A lot of individuals, not just women, a lot of individuals still do not have the rights they rightfully deserve. So if I were to go by Tehseen's argument, how long should we wait before these communities get the right kind of laws?
So I have a very basic question.
How
Because we keep making this comparison. Hold on a second. We keep making comparison at a very fundamental level with the rest of the world, right? We have got uniform laws in all countries. Nowhere else do we know that personal laws are allowed. So there are diversity everywhere. You had original inhabitants in the United States of America also, you have it in many parts of Africa also. Now each one of them will stand up and say, I want to have my own tribal custom, I want to have my own religious laws, I want to have my own tribal laws. Is that allowed anywhere else? Sayyid Aslam Pasha.
Yes,
the way rest of the world functions is one nation, one law.
Padmaja, I mean, let me tell you, Padmaja, first of all, BJP uses this as a best weapon in their arsenal. Okay, whenever there's an election, the BJP uses UCC as a best weapon in their arsenal. There's no doubt about it. Well, let me talk about the Law Commission, which has submitted a 187-page, they have submitted a document which clearly says that unified nation doesn't need uniform personal law. Right, and there's a misconception amongst everybody that BJP is trying to play majoritarian polarization here. Of course, it is not. They're fooling the majority community by doing this. When it comes to personal law, okay, India already has uniform civil laws. India already has uniform criminal laws. India, when you talk about criminal procedure code or civil procedure code or a contract law, India has uniformity in that. When it comes to personal laws, right, India is a diverse country.
But sir, every country is a diverse country. That is my question. Every country is a diverse country. No country is homogeneous.
Yes. Right. So, Padmaja, let me tell you, this debate has been going on right from post-independence.
Exactly. And on multiple occasions, we have been told by courts as well that we need to have uniformity. Now, let me quote to you one thing. For example, you quoted from what the Law Commission said. I quote to you from what the government said in its affidavit. And it said, citizens belonging to different religions and denominations following different patrimony and property laws will affect the nation's unity. So they're saying over time, the country's unity will be affected if everyone is following their own laws and traditions.
When the nation has uniform civil and criminal codes, where is the unity coming? We have diverse people. We have people of different faith.
So tell me, which country doesn't have diverse people?
Well, India is the biggest democracy.
Does the United States have diversity or it doesn't have diversity? Everyone is the same in the United States. Is personal law practiced in the United States of America? Is personal law practiced in the United Kingdom? Does it not have diversity? As a matter of fact, in the UK, non-whites now make up more than half of the population. Are they allowed to practice their personal law there? Are they?
The question here is, we are questioning the ability of the Law Commission, which told
Sir, answer the specific question. The argument of diversity is given again and again. Tawseefur Rahman, if you could answer my question, which country is not diverse? The argument given is that you cannot have UCC because India is a diverse country. Which country isn't a diverse country?